Yeah, Sports Goombahs, Cashy the King here. I got my chef to the left, Rant and Beef, Mikey the Wall to my right. This is the Sports Goombahs show. Not to go without technical difficulties. www.sgshow.net isn't working, so we're at thesportsgoombahs.com. Tell your friends and family, enemies, anyone can.
Enemies, I like that.
We post it up there on Facebook and Twitter and all the way through. Get everybody organized. Sports Goombahs brought to you by Apple Public Adjusters. Insurance claims, give Apple a call. Homeowners damage, fire and smoke. 215-783-1282. The Apple Public Adjuster hotline. Also, brought to you by Seal Roofing. Seal all your roof problems up. B, tell them the number.
215-533-4066.
Yeah. Any roof problems in the Delaware Valley, those are the guys you call. Also, Auto Magic Car Care. 215-322-2561. Mikey Primo and Maddie Litton. It's Mikey's birthday tonight, ain't it?
Yes, it
Junior's
is.
birthday. How old is he?
That, yeah.
What's he, 21?
Yeah.
What's he, 28?
28.
Damn, we're all getting old. Happy birthday, Mikey Primo Jr. Auto Magic Car Care. Also, BZ Group Insurance. We told you about them. 1-800-431-4834. Call my man Brian at bzgroup.com. It's a website, bzgroup.com. He is your Obamacare expert. He will get it done for you. Any questions? He's got the answers. All right, guys. You know, tough week in sports. We're not a whole lot to talk about. I mean, usually someone gives us, you know, something to talk about out there. Something happens. You know, the NFL, nothing. Not even a thing.
Very quiet.
Yeah. So, you know, it's that time of year where, you know, you got to come up with stuff. We did, however, lose a legendary coach in basketball.
That we did.
We're Carolina State coach.
Not Carolina State.
I mean, North Carolina coach. That was his name.
Dean Smith?
Dean Smith, that's it. I was going to say Michael Jordan. Anyway, Dean Smith, the legendary coach, and, you know, number of players came to that organization. You know more about college ball than I do. But back in the day, I mean, the two names that come out to mind are first Doherty, Worthy, and then Jordan. That's it. Those are the three that I can think of right off the bat. Two of them have titles. Doherty was not a bust. He just wasn't, I don't know, he didn't live up to what he was supposed to be in the NBA for the most part. But all good players, a lot of good teams. I mean, you know, North Carolina has been a stable of college basketball for most of my life, as far as I know, back from the late 70s, 80s, 90s, always contending, always had good coaches there. And Dean Smith, I think he spawned a lot of coaches in the.
He did.
I mean, I don't know him offhand. Trying to think.
I could pull up online.
Yeah, you know, what was he? 89? Was that how old he was? He kind of disappeared from basketball for a little bit. He was showing up at the.
Yeah, they said he started. They said he started, you know, losing his memory
away,
and things. Yeah.
As we all do.
He was 83.
83. Hell, 83. I'm fading at 44.
I couldn't remember the freaking guy's name at the start of the show because my brain shot after.
You just got done talking about him in the pregame show, and but as far as coaches go, I mean, you know what this locally we just had Herb McGee get his 1,000 wins right in the
Philly U,
right,
second coach ever.
Herb McGee. Who's he coaching?
Philly U.
Philly U.
Yeah, D2 ball.
Hey,
Philly, we got to grab onto something, right?
Yeah.
We got a winner. We got one winner.
Grade 2 basketball.
But yeah, looking at Dean Smith. I mean, he was more obviously before my time. He stopped coaching in '97, so I was like, 9 years old. Not too many 9-year-olds are into college basketball at that point, but looking at his numbers, I mean, his coach, he didn't have a losing, or sorry, he didn't win less than 20 games since the '60s,
right?
All the way till he retired in '97. I mean,
'60s. Now that's before when I was even born.
Yeah. So that's a winner for you.
Yeah, he's definitely, and like if you just put together his NBA title players that he has titles, and I'm not thinking of ones that aren't popping out at me that probably had NBA titles under him. I mean, just between Worthy and Jordan, what do you have? 10 between the two of them, I think. Yeah, and a number. Who else did he have? Wasn't Hill too, right?
You had Stackhouse,
right?
Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of I'm trying to look at, Wallace has got a title, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of let's just forget about players that won title and talk about Hall of Fame action.
Mm-hmm.
The players you must have, would have prepared better. I would have got a list of Hall of Famers that came out of Dean Smith or even spawned from coaches of him too. So you're talking 40 years of basketball at least, with that kind of stuff going on. But, it's a shame that when a person dies, it's when they get started to talk about him again.
Yeah, so you won't hear from them a while, and then you hear from them again, unfortunately, after they pass.
Yeah, it brought to mind that when you hear Dean Smith, it's coaches that automatically come in your head that you know for years.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start thinking about, and I mentioned to you before the show that the coaches in your life that you can remember, like 3 coaches, 4 coaches, 5 coaches, whatever, that outstanding in your head, not in all sports, like they were icons, so to speak. I mean, like the type of the Vince Lombardi type of person where you just his name, what he did, you don't have to think twice about what it is. And who would you say was one of the guys in your 27-year span that sticks out as far as a coach or something like that would that pops when you hear his name?
Right, down the road from him, Coach K. Krzyzewski is
okay.
He's one of the cream of the crop when it comes to my generation of coaches. That guy's a winner. Like I said, he went from the 60s to 97 without 20 loss or without not getting a 20-win season. I'm sure Coach K probably something similar to that when he started. He's the epitome of consistency is Coach K. Yeah,
to me, I look back at coaches. I wasn't part of the Lombardi era. Towards I was born in that type, but I didn't, was following sports. Mm-hmm. I throw back to icon coaches myself. I look at the Tom Landry type, good or bad in the 70s. He didn't have to see him himself, just his silhouette of his hat and that kind of stuff. It was like, that was the coach that you right off the bat, you knew who he was. You didn't have to see him. You saw his silhouette or
that's before my time. And even I know,
yeah,
when you see that hat,
right. That hat was all about. And even Chuck Noll back then, who won more Super Bowls and was more probably maybe not a better coach, but a different kind of coach. Even more, it didn't matter. He didn't have that character to him that like a Tom Landry. And that's what a lot of these coaches have. Mm-hmm. These coaches just stick your head, have a character to them. That's what keeps them going. Vince Lombardi had that character to him. Tom Landry had a character to him. And I think about trying to think of some other coaches that would, like, I'm looking towards the NBA and that kind of thing. And I don't see that.
I mean, if you're going to go NBA, the 2 big ones to stand out be Phil Jackson.
I was just going to say.
And Popovich.
Yeah, but the thing is, Pop has a personality attitude. He has, there's something about him. I mean, it's just like the Lakers coach.
Jackson?
No, before him, Jackson. Jesus. The one.
Riley?
Yeah, Pat Riley. Right. Say Pat Riley, but you knew Pat Riley's face. He had that character to him. He was the Hollywood, the face, the suntan. He's always looking good. He had that thing. Was he a great coach? I don't know if Pat Riley was a great coach because
the talent he had on the team.
Yeah, that's right. He never had to build a team. It's like you see Phil Jackson trying to put something together in New York right now. He's struggling. Even though he's not a coach.
Yeah, that's why if I had to rank like my age-ish, my generation's coaches, I think Pop has passed Phil because Phil's had 3 of the top 10 players of all time.
Yeah,
and maybe even if you add Scotty.
Look, I don't know squat about basketball, but there's certain things you just know, and if a coach sticks out, that's to me when you know it's easy to know who the best players are in any sport because they stand out. And when you actually get coaches that stand out, in that respect, you're going to know. You're going to know that they are the better ones or infamous ones. There's like one that pops in my head. I don't know how good he was. I wasn't we were just talking college basketball because it was local. Was Rolly Massimino. Was one of those guys who would like almost I don't know if he was good or if he was just a parody because he would like go crazy on the sidelines. It just pops into my head.
Infamous in the air. You got
to
change.
Yeah, no. You're talking local. I'm talking a national. I'm talking a figure.
They were national at that point.
Massimino had a little run there. He had that Nova run, and then he fell apart. He went to UNLV, and then he was really destroyed. He wasn't an icon. You couldn't go across the country and talk to somebody in another area and say Massimino. That wasn't me. That's below what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
When you mention Tom Landry, or even let's go to baseball. Even baseball, if you go to baseball, there's a ton of
LaRusso.
LaRusso, you can know that even
Joe Torre.
These are guys where Torre's kind of a character in himself. LaRusso not so much. He's quiet.
Yeah,
but an outspoken.
But he was a good coach and well known for it.
Yeah, I mean, you go to not a Martin type coach. Billy Martin was. That's the kind I'm looking at.
These days they don't even have it outside of Ozzie Guillen. Right. They don't really have that. There's no head case nut.
Yeah, not in baseball. You wouldn't have that character. I mean, you can't even look at a Charlie Manuel type. He's not an icon. He's not a national icon type of a coach. That's what I'm looking at here. It's not a whole lot of them. And like you say, Coach K is. You know what you can always tell. You always tell a good coach or a coach character when you start seeing characters of them, like cartoons of their faces.
Mm-hmm.
Coach K with the nose sitting down there. It's him.
If you're going to go character and you're going to go success, Belichick is the cream of the crop.
Yeah, Belichick. You see cartoons. He's a cartoon now.
He's got a hoodie on.
Whether you like him or hate him,
it's not even a matter of that. It's not. We're not looking at what. It doesn't matter if you like or hate him at all.
No, you got to respect. That's what I was going to say. You got to respect his accomplishments and what he's done, and the fact that he's a good coach.
I'm not really looking. I'm looking at the fact that it pops at you. You know who it is, good or bad. When I first started, good. You know who it is.
Gravelly voice, doesn't talk, wearing a hoodie.
People tell you they doesn't matter if they hate or like Tom Landry. They knew him. You knew the face, you knew the silhouette, you knew what it was. Regardless of how good he was or bad for that matter. But it's in the NHL. Forget about it. It's just the characters. They're just players that became coaches, so they're really not. In the NHL, there's not an icon coach that you could bust out anybody would know. I mean, it's very hard for anybody outside of a hockey fan to know hockey players themselves, let alone the coaches of those teams, which revolve so often, for the most part.
And you got to when the Edmonton Oilers were that great. I mean, I can't think of their coach, but they were loaded with so many players at that point. Wayne Gretzky, Messier, all that, Coffey, all those players. I can't remember the coach. Comes to the same
forget about him. That's
it's the same point of the Lakers. You can't you give credit to the coach for that, or you give credit for the GM who drafted all those guys.
No, but I understand what you're saying. But once again, it's the character of you can't remember Glenn Sader of Edmonton because he didn't come out at you. He wasn't a character that brought it out. Once again, when you come back to the people we're talking about, you know them by just seeing them. Anywhere that they can appear on a Tonight Show or something, you know them. You don't need their names. You know them by their faces and their character. That's what I basically meant. In the NHL, you don't see that at all. In college basketball, you see a lot of characters. You can go back to
because you can stay there for 30 years. It's not a thing.
Rick Pitino is a character of that. And then who's that guy? Boeheim. You know what I mean? Although blowing a lot of games, Boeheim back in the 80s, the late 80s, early 90s. Other than that, he was the type of a character. But if you think about it, college ball has a lot of character coaches in there, And like you said, they don't come and go in college like they do in the NBA.
Yeah, they stick around.
You don't have to win in college, unless you're Kentucky or you're the bigger schools.
The same teams do win,
right?
Which is why you stick around.
Wait a minute, I don't know her name, but does this qualify? I know who she is. She's the coach of the Lady Vols. That's
Pat Summitt.
That's it.
Yeah,
I know off the top. I know who she is. I know her at school. I didn't know her name, but I know who she was because she was such a damn good coach. Winning, I don't think she had a losing season, right?
Mm-hmm. So I think like her first year, I think she did like that. Then she won for like 40 straight years.
Yeah, ridiculous.
And you look at like Dean Smith. If you're 20, 27 years in doing this, and I think 20 of them he had winning years, or maybe more. How many losing years? I don't think I had many. Maybe 7 losing years out of that. I think, or subpar, or sub 500.
He had one losing season. His first year, he went 8-9.
Right.
Back when they played 17 games a year.
Right.
Give him 5 more games, he would have finished over 500.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have. And it's like when he retired, he was the all-time winningest coach in history of college basketball. And you got to think, this is back then. They weren't playing 40 games a year like they do now.
Exactly.
They weren't preseason tournaments and this and that. Like. he probably would have well over 1,000 like the coaches nowadays do. But it's just the fact that
how many lifetime wins? How many all-time wins?
879.
And that's now think about it. That's amazing considering how many years we're under. Like you said, 17 games around that bit for first 2 or 3 years of his career at least, right?
Yeah, it's next year. They played 21 games and 24. So now, I mean, if you're playing like nowadays, you literally play 40 games a year. So 20-win seasons don't really mean what they used to mean.
No,
I mean, so that's why the numbers get inflated. So I mean, Dean, he holds up. And by the way, I did pull up it's a little short coaching tree from underneath Dean Smith. He has Larry Brown, Billy Cunningham, Matt Doherty, George Karl.
And these guys.
Now these are funny. These are all names that, not being a basketball guy, I know.
Mitch Kupchak, the GM of the Lakers. I did not know that.
So he spans the whole NBA. And if you look at the guys you just met, Cunningham, he has one title. He's won a title, and he's coached a title. And he's been in three NBA title games. And the Kupchak, Lakers have.
He's a GM.
Yeah, I mean, I think he coached them too. Can Kupchak coach the Lakers? I mean, one of them years.
I don't know. It shows you how long you've been around when Larry Brown is in your coaching tree. Larry Brown's like 70. Yeah. So the fact that he's in your coaching tree shows you've been around for a while.
I got a feeling he's in everybody's coaching tree, Larry Brown. Legendary. I mean, I'm trying to think, what teams didn't he coach? That's in the NBA.
Ben Selm High School.
Ben Selm High School. Right? And they haven't won nothing, right? It's unbelievable. But it's funny how in football, we're sitting here, we're thinking, you really can't come up with that many icon coaches. Not in
the new school. I can think of the older ones. He said,
see. No. I'm going to say, what do you call it? The hair.
Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson. Yep.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, he's been on so many things now afterwards, and not even football related. If you're going by like what you said, I know who he is. A lot of people do know who he is. Even like when he was on Survivor, my kids didn't know. They're not football fans, especially not Dallas football fans. They sit there, and he that coach guy, and they knew who he was. They knew he had something to do with football.
Along the same lines with, you could say Ditka too.
Yeah,
who Ditka is, but I mean that might be more for a player even. But no, I actually don't agree with what you said. I think back in if you're going older coaches, there's a lot in football.
Right.
You could throw out other than Lombardi and Landry, Shula, Bill Walsh. These are all guys before my time, but I still can pick them out. I can pick they walk in the room.
You pick them out of a lineup.
I can pick them out of a lineup. Nowadays it's is Gruden, is Dungy, are they really that noticeable? They're not really.
No, it's just but it's so funny. You didn't mention current coaches. You mentioned people that are plastered on NFL Network or CBS or NFL.
It's like he said.
Exactly.
At 27, 52, the Landry, you know it.
Yeah.
It's regardless because it's put on.
I think it was just 3 weeks ago. You didn't know that Mike McCarthy was the head coach of the Packers. Right. He won a Super Bowl, and he has a great team. But yet still, sports fans, not everybody's going to know who Mike McCarthy is. And this goes to show you, it's not they're not these big iconic figures like they were in the past.
Right. No, you look at the four sports, you really don't. It's amazing how you don't have that many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the
I can't even think of one.
The Boston coach, the little fat coach, and he ended up with the Yankees.
Zimmer,
yeah.
Don Zimmer.
Yeah.
There's one.
Don Zimmer had that character to him. He had
that, Cubbies too.
Well, he had that.
The Rays. Yeah,
he had that. The backer with the cheek, and then he had that tough looking, always arguing,
See, no way. My generation are going to remember him more for fighting Pedro than they will. Seriously, I didn't even know he was a manager. I thought he was always the assistant coach to Torrey. I thought forever.
What's amazing is 3 minutes of his career, and there it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? End of story.
When you're 80 years old taking on a Hall of Fame pitcher, you're going to get remembered for that. So.
Yeah, right.
And getting slammed in your head.
And it's fun. Like you said, I'm trying to pull one up from hockey.
Scotty Bowman, and I'm not a hockey guy, but
Scotty
that's a name that jumps out at me.
That's a name that jumps out. Yeah. But if I showed you a picture of 4 NFL and NHL coaches, could you pick them out?
Bowman, I know he was balding with hair on the side, but if you showed me 4 guys balding with hair on the side, you probably couldn't get it.
You just described Mickey Rourke, or no, Mickey Rooney. He kind of looks like Mickey Rooney.
Yeah,
but along those lines, there's been a lot of, and you know what? Half of it too is their dynamic personalities. Right. They're type A people that, let's face it, they want to be known. And I get the feeling in 10 years that, good or bad, you're going to add Chip Kelly to that list, just because of the simple fact that he's selling himself, he markets himself, and that's what these coaches did. I win. This is what I do, and it was all. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have that kind of personality, especially when you're the coach and you're the boss and you need to get shit done. Mm-hmm. These are the guys. That's the kind of guy hey, look, this is why I hired you. Take the ball, run with it, and I get the feeling that Chip Kelly, 10 years from now, if we had this conversation, would be on that list.
Oh, well,
very valid.
He's got work to do. At this point, 2 years doesn't make you're not going to get that action. But he's got the character for it. But that's, once again, you're around the country and you talk to people of all ages, and Chip Kelly's, just
they're going to know him right now, though.
No, they won't. They want to look at him. I mean, it's
he was all the talk this year, though.
Yeah, but if you're a football person, I'm telling you, it's my daughter. You show the icon of Tom Landry. She knows it. I mean, she knows it from me, but you don't have to talk football with her. It's part of that. People know that. It's like Muhammad Ali. You don't have to know Muhammad Ali. You just see the silhouette of him or
standing over.
Yeah. The presence of it. That's what I'm talking about. That type of thing. Like I said, good or bad coach doesn't really matter at this point. There's a lot of bad coaches that were character. That one up in Buffalo right now. We'll get into. There's the guy Rexy. Rexy's going to feed us all year. He's going to feed us. He's going to feed us good all year. No doubt.
He's already started.
Yeah, I know. Well, give us a call, 267-563-2893. Sports Goombahs Smoke Phone. www.sgshow.net is down right now. We are at thesportsgoombahs.com. thesportsgoombahs.com. You can check us out. Just go to Facebook. Go to the Sports Goombahs page on Facebook and click on the link, and you'll get right to us. Sorry about the chaos and confusion and tech problems. YouTube tech problems as usual. No big deal. And you just Google us at Sports Goombahs. Tell your friends, families, and doggies.
Dog.
Yeah.
We are a dog-friendly show.
Dog-friendly show. That's right. Freezing cold out, man. Ice all over the place.
Slippery.
Yeah. Me, I don't put salt down. I don't want to ruin that concrete. Just let you guys slide right up into the studio there.
With that insurance claim.
Yeah. It's Monday. It says this is a typical dreary Monday.
This is the day. It's textbook for I don't want to go to work. I don't want to go out. I just want to sit at home with a cup of coffee, maybe a bowl of soup,
and listen and listen to the sports Goombahs.
And listen to Sports Goombahs. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not a fan for this cold anymore. I mean, I'd rather see some snow than this freezing cold, icy stuff. It's no good. It's bad for me. It's bad for my personality. It makes me angry. Makes me think of that song. You wouldn't remember this. The Boomtown Rats. Tell me why.
I don't like Mondays. Yeah.
That's a perfect song. You don't hear that too much on because it equates to shootings. Somebody shooting at a school.
About the first one.
I think the first one was based on that song. Yeah, that was
in England. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it was. And I mean, that's about that. That was the end of that tune. That was the end of his career. Actually, he became what was his name?
Bob Geldof.
Bob Geldof became a producer of. Gotta go to the smoke phone here. Does that ring loud enough for everybody? You sure? Sports Goombahs. Well, let me introduce you first, Jeff. You got to take a breath when you call the show. You just can't. This is Jeff. We got to say, hey, welcome to the Sports Goombahs. And who is this? Jeff Brandy's. Now, Jeff, welcome to the show.
Well, good morning. Cashy the King, how are you this morning?
I'm kicking, man. I'm kicking. It's not the morning, though, my man.
We're going to have to switch somebody to decaf here.
It might be Jeff's morning, but it's definitely not our morning. How you doing, man?
What's going on? It is a great night. I think it's real nice of you to be giving this show in honor of, they call him St. Dean, Coach Smith at North Carolina. And it's real nice of you to give this tribute to him. It's a shame, how he left the way he did, with dementia.
Yeah.
And but I'm gonna move on unless you want to keep talking about it.
It's your show. I'm just participating in it. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, there was it's interesting. All the players that played under Dean Smith, You had I don't know if you mentioned them all. There was Jordan. There was James Worthy.
Right. We got to them. Yeah.
Sam Perkins, Brad Dougherty, Kenny Smith, Bob McAdoo. Did you mention Bill Ford?
We went back a little bit. We got as far back as Cunningham. You know,
Walter Davis.
The great
Bobby
Walter
Jones.
Davis. He was my guy back then as a kid.
Did you talk about the time when he came back with 17 seconds, down 8 points against Duke and beat him?
Yep.
That was But I'm going to move on. Tomorrow, it is a quiet week. The pickings are slim to talk about. We could talk about two Philadelphia teams playing basketball tomorrow night if you want to do that. Drexel and Temple are both playing tomorrow night at home.
That's basketball, at least, you know. For most
part. Temple is surprising this year. So Drexel, they're both playing good ball this year, actually. But and I think they're both slight favorites at home. But what else can we move on? We can move on to the Hot Stove League.
Hey, listen.
I heard you mention Don Zimmer. I love Don Zimmer. He was.
He was a character. That's he's one of the he's a baseball. He's an icon in baseball. He's one of those guys.
You talked about that fight with Pedro. That to me, that should keep Pedro out of the Hall of Fame.
No,
I mean,
no way. Zimmer had it coming, dude. You know it. You know what I mean? He had it coming.
I remember watching that incident. I remember seeing it on TV. I never was a big Pedro fan. Were you a Pedro fan?
I couldn't care less about him. He played for the Phillies for 1 year and didn't do nothing. Actually,
he was fine for us.
Well, okay, but we didn't do nothing. Whatever. He was just.
My kid swears he's like the greatest thing since sliced white bread.
Well, everybody likes sliced white bread.
I would take my shot against him anytime.
Yeah.
Early 2000s, Pedro was lights out. Lights out.
Yeah, well,
he was lights out for a while, but I just thought he was at the right place at the right time. I mean, this is a little guy. You can hit little guys.
Yeah.
Well,
you gonna do it that guy.
But I never was a big Maddox fan either. So
Yeah, well, what do you mean Maddox fan? How can you not be a Maddox fan? You mean Greg Maddox?
Yeah.
Well, come on, man.
Right.
He's legendary. You have to be a fan of him. I mean, that's.
I was a Maddox fan, and I hated the Braves.
Yeah, he's a pitch. Yeah, we all do. I mean, when you take it down to just plain pitching, there, it wasn't too many guys better. But I like Smoltz. Smoltz to me was a better pitcher.
If Smoltz could start and he could relieve. I mean, Greg Maddox. He led the league in ERA for 107 years.
Right.
He won Gold Gloves, every one of them too.
Yeah. Right. How many Cy Youngs you have? 6?
Maddox?
Yeah.
No.
How many?
Not at all. I'll pull it up now, but it's nowhere near that much.
4, at least 4 of them.
I thought it was 3.
I'll pull it up. You guys can continue to.
Not a big deal anyway. He didn't have to. The way he pitched, he didn't have to win it. He didn't have to.
You didn't have to tell him he was the best in the league. You didn't need an award to tell him he was the best in the league.
What Maddox did is lack World Series. That's what he didn't get to. All those Atlanta teams in the 90s came up short except once. They should have won 5 or 6 World Series with the teams they put together in them years. But they failed. They seemed to fail.
Yeah, we always talk about the Phillies, how they should have gotten more than just the one. I mean, talk about the Braves had it for a full decade, and they only came up with 1. That was upset. If you're a Braves fan, you got to be upset with that. But
yeah,
he won 4 Cy Youngs.
4 Cy Youngs.
He won 4 straight Cy Youngs. 92, 93, 94, 95. Jeez.
See, I thought 4. Okay, I'm not.
94, 95 were unanimous, by the way. 100% of the votes.
Yeah, I mean,
well, duh.
And he literally won a Gold Glove every year from 1990 to 2008.
Right. He was
19 straight Gold Gloves.
19 straight.
19 straight.
And when you were 37 or 38?
Oh.
He was probably 37 or 38 when he won his last one too. The best fielding pitcher in baseball for almost 20 years.
Right.
Period.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And you didn't like him? You didn't like him? Maybe there's a difference between liking and
used him at shortstop. They're going to have Wilmer Flores playing shortstop from this year.
And he was 42 when he
was on the Flintstones, Wilmer Flores.
Well, remember Julio Franco? He just signed with some Japanese baseball team.
Did he really?
Yeah, a semi-pro. He's 50. Well, I want to say
50
something.
56
years old.
56?
56 years
I
old.
remember he took that bat in the major leagues at 48 years old.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he played for the Braves and had some good years actually in his late 40s.
He played with the Mets too. He played with. He was man. He was in shape though. Oh my God!
56.
Wasn't he the one on Seinfeld? Cash?
Who?
Frank with the Mets? Oh no! That was.
No, that was Keith.
Keith
was on with the
Hernandez.
Mets.
That's it. Yeah.
Keith Hernandez.
I knew it was some exotic Mex player. Yeah.
Keith Hernandez was great.
See that, Mike? See that? We go back to a Seinfeld reference. That's what I'm telling you about.
We
that
just
show.
lost Mike.
Over my head.
We just lost Mike.
Over my head.
Yeah.
Franco was born in 58. That's disgusting.
Yeah, I just pulled out 56 years old, and he's playing. He signed with a Japanese semi-pro baseball
And he'll hit
team.
290.
Oh my goodness! I mean, does this guy know how to read? I mean, there got to be nothing happening if you're playing baseball at 56.
He's going to be the player manager.
Is he really?
Yes. Somebody got to tell him that even in Japan, they still throw in the 80s and 90s. It's not like it's high arc baseball where you can sit there and run. Right, he's going to have. All right, you keep score while I'm out there, please. To the other team. He's going to go out and play first base. What? I don't know.
Right. Well,
if you got to run, I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can't hit that off. I never could hit that off pitching. I don't know how they do it.
Jeff, before I let you rock and roll. And I was going to get into the Buffalo Bills a little bit later on, but since I have you on the phone with Rex Ryan building the NFL, the Buffalo Bullies, evidently now he quoted today, or it was yesterday, saying that he wants to build a bully of a team. Drags in, signs Incognito right off the bat, to probably soup up his locker room.
Yeah, Incognito. They signed Richie Incognito. He's going to play for him.
Yeah, well, whatever. Everybody likes to say this guy's name. I must have heard it 100 times on the radio today. Everybody just loves to say his last name. It's like, that's, it's. I remember when they first they were saying his name last year or year before that happened. I used to think Incognito. He was Incognito. Remember on the radio show?
Oh yeah, he said, "Who is this guy? Why won't they release his name?"
Yeah, I was like, "Who's Incognito?" It was nuts. I mean, who the hell gets that last name? But that's just goes to show.
It's a good signing.
It's a good signing.
He's a Pro Bowler.
I don't know if he's a Pro Bowl anymore. He's been.
He's probably not, but he was.
But that's just Rex Ryan. What an idiot! I mean, he's going up there like he thinks he's going to put Buffalo on the map.
Well, of course he's going to think that. Why would he not think that?
Because the Bills haven't been on the map, and they're not going to get on the map up in Buffalo. The only people who know Buffalo is the people who live in Buffalo. Other than that, they're not a factor. They haven't been a factor in the NFL for years. And
even when they were, they couldn't seal the deal.
Yeah, not even that. It's just the fact that it's just the NFL, and you can see what it takes to win in this league. And being bullies and being tough guys and try to go to Raiders type of a team of the 70s doesn't work in the NFL, especially the flags that are being thrown in this league. You can't have guys that are hitters, troublemakers on the field. That's what he wants to build.
He wasn't a troublemaker on the field.
Yeah, he
Apparently
does.
He was a troublemaker off the field.
He wants
to
have
his own teammates.
Yeah.
He's trying to build. He wants to build the Rex team. He's so into himself.
Yeah, but look at the Ravens and Steelers. They're known as tough teams. They
had players on them teams, man. They just had tough guys. They had guys who could play football. All right.
Bills had like a number. They like a top 3 defense.
But okay. Well, you say that they had guys that could play because it was a different style of play that they were allowed to play back then. It's different. You were allowed to hit like a beast, and you were actually. It was a good job when you knocked somebody out on the frickin' field, or you did that, or you can't do. Half of those players wouldn't be able to play now. You couldn't because half their game was being beast mode.
I think
the whole game.
I think Terrell Suggs is doing pretty fine in this day and age, isn't he?
Terrell Suggs?
Yeah,
I think he's doing pretty good.
Exactly my point. He can play. He still can play that style. You just can't hit the quarterback.
I understand what you're saying. When you're a goof like Ryan and you came off the Jets, you destroyed that team. You had no players on that team, and you're all about yourself in the first place with them. It's all about Rex Ryan. It was Rex Ryan and the Jets. Didn't matter who was
There
quarterback.
was nothing to destroy. They're awful. They've always been awful.
Well, they made it. They weren't always awful. They got to a point of being able to compete there in the beginning until he got full of himself. He got full of himself with his stupid quarterback who he thought was,
Yeah, but it's not like he inherited some juggernaut and ran him to the ground. He made him good, and he tore him back down.
My point being here is that once Rex took over this team, okay, we got pictures of him getting his tattoo done. We got him bathing.
Yeah, he's Hollywood.
He's golfing. He's eating here. He's doing this. He's not even focusing on film, players, and stuff like that. He's too busy media hogging. Right there tells you you're done. If you don't want to put the time in there, you should be waiting. You should be right on seeing who the draft picks are, what teams are available, what free agents. Don't tell me you have guys and the idiots you brought with them even worse. So don't tell me you're doing that kind of stuff when you're every day you're on TV doing something stupid that has everything to do about you and nothing about the team. And that ain't gonna go in Buffalo. I mean, that's a tight-knit crew out there that come to them games. It's the same people for the last 20 years, passed down. They're sitting on wooden stinking benches up there. That was at Jack Russell Stadium. What's it called? It's the only stadium I think a bank hasn't taken over yet, or an insurance company.
I think it's Ralph Wilson.
Ralph Wilson. Who's Ralph Wilson?
The owner.
The owner. Yeah, right. So the owner actually has a name on his.
I think he's dead now, but
well, somebody has it. I don't think it's not the Ralph Wilson Wells Fargo Stadium. It's still Ralph Wilson, right?
Correct.
That just goes to show you. I know Buffalo wants to be, relevant in the NFL, but I'm sure they don't want to be relevant for being a team that's buffoonery. And that's where they're going to head with this guy. I've been saying this about this coach since the day he took the head coaching job for the Jets. Haven't I, B?
Yes, you have.
I'm blasting this dude. He was going nowhere. And he almost proved me wrong by getting that.
And to boot, you would throw in his knucklehead brother.
Yeah.
Knucklehead twin.
Who will not get a head coaching job.
Ever. He will never. And if you do, then if you do, you got it. I mean, you got it. I would not be a fan of that team anymore. I would hand in my jersey. Right.
He's got to cut
if he gets that.
All right, Jeff. Why don't you hold on for us, Jeff? I want to go to a break. I want to keep you around. I want to see if you got some picks for us, all right? You there, Jeff?
I like Jeff. Tomorrow night.
I'm taking a break here. I got to control this guy. He has to have cue cards for him. Why don't you stick around? I'm going to take a break, and we'll be right back, all right?
I'll stick around, sure.
You hold on. Okay, you got it, man. Cashy the King. Got my chef to the left, Brandon B. This is the Sports Goombahs, and I think we got the WSG show back up and running in a couple minutes. And we'll have to shoot that back out to Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and all the other chaotic places we have our stuff going. We'll be back in just a minute. All right, Cashy the King from Sports Goombahs. Listen, shop 344tees.com. Your favorite men's, women's, kids' apparel. T-shirts, hoodies, sweats, and more. With every name brand available. My man Larry Gilman will take care of all your printing and embroidery needs. For business, sports, organizations, or maybe you're just opening up a pizzeria. 344tees.com will get it done. Call now, 844-542-2774. That's 844-542-2774. Their customer apparel marketing team are available not just to only give you the product you need, but give you the support and custom service that best matches your goal and budgets. Call 844-542-2774. That's 344tees.com.
BZI Group Inc. for your individual and small group health insurance needs. BZI offers free, instant online insurance quotes and applications from major health insurance carriers. The BZI Group is dedicated to a no-nonsense approach to health insurance. They focus on giving you the insurance you need in a timely and cooperative manner. Whether you're looking for individual and family, group, seniors, life, or long-term coverage, BZI can help. For additional information or to speak with an insurance expert, call 1-800-431-4834 or email them at www.bzigroup.com.
Stop paying your bookie each week and start collecting. They have the best handicappers in the world, all in one place. And their only job is to win you money. Check Jeff Brandy's and all the experts at trendbetting.com. Trend betting theory is simple. Trends dominate in sports, and you will win in the long run by following the dominant trend. You will lose in the long run if you buck the dominant trend. Simple enough. That's trendbetting.com.
When you need a good roof over your head, call Seal Roofing. They've been keeping folks warm and dry for many years now and are proud of their work. Seal Roofing and Contracting does it all, whether you need simple repairs before the next big rainy season or a whole new roof. Maybe you need new siding or windows. You can be certain that when you hire Seal Roofing, you're hiring the best. Available 7 days a week with 24-hour emergency service and free estimates. Call 215-533-4066. That's 215-533-4066 or visit sealroofing.net.
Has your home or business been damaged by a recent storm and you're left to deal with the insurance company to make things right? Turn to Apple Public Adjusters and meet owners Patrick O'Donnell and Mark Stendardo. If you've suffered recent storm damage to your home or business, call 267-538-3373. That's 267-538-3373 and protect your rights and maximize your benefits.
Sports Goombahs, Cashy the King back here. I work on that domain name. Get the rest of the listeners in. We only have 47 listeners. We need 147. All right. Give us a call, 267-563-2893 is the Sports Goombahs hotline. We're here at Cashy the King. I got Chef to the left. Mikey Wall's to my right. Jeff Brandy's hanging on. This is the pick session. This is where we're going to try to earn you a few dollars. We got Jeff Brandy. Hey, Jeff, what are you looking at this week?
I've been following Kentucky in college basketball. That's I find it very interesting. They seem to not cover by 1 or 2 points every game. I mean,
that's a problem.
They're favored by 17. They'll win by 16.
Yeah.
They who did they play the other night? They were it was single
Florida.
digits and they didn't cover.
Florida.
I forgot. Florida, right.
There it is.
Right.
That's why I have Mike on the show.
Favorites, they won by 7.
Right.
I find it very interesting.
I see. Well, let's give me before I get into my plays. What are you looking at? Give us something like I can give out to my people here they can earn on. Come on.
Well, for right now, I've been trying to tomorrow. There's a few basketball games that I like for tomorrow. I told you I like Drexel and I like Temple. I like Temple a lot tomorrow. In college ball, I believe that I was looking at Iona. Let me just make sure. I'm pretty sure that I liked Iona also. But
Iona, obscure basketball teams
Out of New York.
Yeah.
But as far as pro basketball, I just been pretty much laying off that for a while. I'm taking tonight. I liked Miami against the Knicks, and they're 4-point favorites, and they're winning by about 7 right now. But that doesn't count.
Listen, you can't take games that are off already. It's the Sports Goombahs, my man. Got something? Give me something.
Yeah.
Give me a game for tomorrow night. I can give out to everybody. This is Jeff Brandy.
Tomorrow night, you bet the house on Temple tomorrow night. How's that?
Okay. Jeff Brandy's from trendbetting.com has put out the game. Temple tomorrow. Who they playing? That's key here.
I forget who they're playing tomorrow, but I know I like
hey,
them.
you know what? It doesn't really matter because we won Temple. We don't care if
They're playing at home. They're playing at home against somebody.
Okay. All right, Jeff, give a shout about your website and what's going on with that and how people can get a hold of you.
I'm with trendbetting.com, and you can get Team Brandy's selections there every day, or you can get any of the other guys over there. I don't care. But buy mine if you want to spend money. Buy mine. You know, I've been smoking. I've been smoking with college basketball. I mean, I'm having a terrific month. So get over to trendbetting.com and buy some picks. You know, blow the dust off your wallet. Take the rubber band off it and make some money. Will you, for crying out loud?
Temple plays Cincinnati, by the way.
There you go.
And Brendan, you got to bring me pizza next time. I want that whole house pizza with anchovies on it next time.
All right. I'll send it over.
All right, thanks for that, man. I'll give you my address. I'll put it on Facebook for you.
Jeff, thanks for checking in. Appreciate it. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure with you guys. You know, you guys are the best in the world. None.
It's always something. Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right.
Francesco, he ain't got his shot with you guys.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
You got it. Jeff Brandy's checking in. Always cheerful. Never what's going to go on with that guy. But he does know his sports, and that's for sure. I follow him all the time on trendbetting.com, and Jeff gets it done. If I don't have a play, he does. All right, let's get right to my plays. What I'm looking at this week, we're going to venture into the NHL. Last week, not so good, 4-5. Did good with my Nashville. Islanders let me down, and of course the home team Flyers, which I got overzealous and went off my Dow Jones a little bit, and I paid. But I'm going to make it up tomorrow to you. Okay, tomorrow I got Edmonton coming into New York Islanders. New York Islanders are flirting right now. The win some, lose some type thing. You know, they're minus 270. I'm going to lay that 270 against Edmonton. Poor hockey team playing tonight against another poor hockey team, New Jersey. So they're in the neighborhood. Okay, they're playing Jersey tonight, and they're going to play the Islanders tomorrow. And I'm laying the 270 on this one. The Islanders are 3.5 side total. I like that too, but you know what? The Islanders haven't been really putting the puck in the net like they were a couple weeks ago. They have some injuries, and Edmonton, they can score a couple, but I like the minus 270 on this one. Lay the money. I think the Islanders win the game. By how much, I don't know. How many goals doesn't really matter. I just think they'll win the game. The other one's a good one. This is a good one. What's the guy say on the we got a good one for you on the Family Feud. It's that Steve Harvey. We got a good one for you. Everyone's a good one. Anyway, I got a good one for you right here. Montreal's at Philadelphia. Mason's injured. He's out. I don't know who's going to goaltend for this team.
Emery.
Yeah, but when I said I don't know who's going to goaltend, Emery, you don't know what you're going to get when Emery comes in there. Montreal's going to be a 2.5 on the puck total, on the team side total, 2.5. I like that one. I like that even at a 3.5 tomorrow. Montreal's a good hockey team. They're another one of those hockey teams that just never get there, but they get there. You know what I mean? They get to the playoffs. They do their things. Flyers are in trouble right now. Like Montreal, the Flyers, 5 in a row? They've won so far?
6 out of 7.
Well, whatever. Yeah. Regardless, it's
and the loss was the tie.
Right. Mason came back for 2 games, and he was the difference in the last 2 games they played. The Washington game is very much the difference in the beginning. Although Emery kept them in the game, I just think Washington was terrible the other night. I just think they missed a lot of shots.
Game, he was downright amazing.
Right. Well, the problem with the Islanders game, he had so many shots on goal there. That was a problem. I mean, quality shots on him. Yeah. If he wasn't amazing, they would have got blown out of that one. I like Philadelphia. I like Montreal minus the 165. You're over 2.5 goals in this one for a little double play there. So there's 3 right now for you. And the other one, of course, I got to take Nashville. Now, Nashville's home against Tampa Bay. Nashville's been, tough scoring goals too, but they're winning hockey games, whether it's shootout or whatnot. Nashville's still the best team in hockey right now. Tampa Bay is good hockey team. A lot of firepower on that hockey team. And I don't care about goals in this one. I think Nashville outscores them, just outplays them. Tampa Bay in Nashville. So I like Nashville minus the 130. I think it's a little generous there. I thought I would see a 150, 160 on that one. But seeing a 130, it's a little bit of a bargain. So that's what I like. So let me regroup on this. I like the New York Islanders. Lay the money. Lay the big bucks on the Islanders over Edmonton tomorrow. Edmonton's hanging out in New York a couple of days. Not good for them. Really not good for those boys. The other one I like in Montreal's coming to Philadelphia. Philadelphia doesn't have a home field advantage here. They don't matter. It doesn't matter. It depends on who they're playing, what kind of game is going to go down. I think it's a bad spot for Philly to have Montreal coming in right now with the goaltending problems, the injury problems, stuff like that. Whatever. It's a bad spot. It's time for the Flyers to go the other way, because we'll get into this after I'm done because I'm getting into. We're going to talk some hockey here because I'm getting annoyed. I'm getting annoyed again about the way that they talk about the Flyers, the Snyderism that's going on over there. And Nashville minus the 130 with Tampa Bay last week 4-5. I'm going to get that back for you as best I can this week, and I'm going to do it all tomorrow for you. Those are our picks.
And who are they brought to us by?
They're brought to us by. Let's see who we can get this. Oh, my man, Larry Gilman at LarryGilman.biz, the T-shirt guy. Give Larry Gilman a call. Actually, just go to his website, LarryGilman.biz. He makes all the Sports Goombahs T-shirts, and then he'll give you a helmet to check out B over there. And I got the jacket over here. Mike's got nothing.
Mike's got his Clemson.
He's got the Sports Goombahs thong on, but you can't tell right now.
Right, we got the WAP on his ass.
Hey, my girlfriend put the picture up.
That was beautiful. Was she in the bathroom?
Yeah, she's in our bathroom. Yeah, that's her selfie. That's her selfie.
I got a selfie from Instagram in the bathroom.
Yeah.
She flushing the toilet. I mean, come on, Sports Goombahs.
Wait a minute, you got to understand here. We don't put we put you in the bathroom. It's a bad thing.
In the old days, we hey B, what do you know? We used to do that.
Put him in a bathroom.
Put everybody bed in bed. You know why we do that?
Why do you do that?
Bronx Tale.
You ever see that one?
God damn, we gotta put you in a bathroom. Take a selfie.
All right, this is it. Wait a minute. You got to watch the Bronx Tale. I mean, come on, do us that favor. Watch a lot of good sayings come out of that. A lot of it's not as harsh as The Godfather and the other mob movies.
Harsh.
This is a neighborhood type of a mob movie. It's good.
Yeah, but I'm not PG. I don't need neighborhood related. I want bad. I want blood and curse words.
There's a lot of blood. Bronx Tale wasn't a bloody one. A lot of curse words.
Can I just lie and say I've seen it?
Oh, we're going to quiz you. We're going to do it here, Mike. All right. Let's get right to it. Since we're talking about hockey.
I don't want that guy looking at my dice.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I'm going to get into the hockey. I get very disturbed. Yeah, I watched the game yesterday, and you know me with the fighting and stuff like that. I like fighting. I like genuine fighting. I like fighting for a reason. I like old school fighting in hockey where you made a point by fighting, or if you hit one of the good players, you were to pay the price by one of the goons. And it really were goons, and they made a difference. They made people hurt. You got beat up. You got beat up so good that you were having trouble playing the rest of the game. Not like it is now where it's a stage fighting thing. Last night, Lawton for the Flyers, who was destroyed several weeks ago out of the concussions.
Yeah.
And he got into a fight yesterday with, I'm going to say this guy's name wrong. Niskanen. Yeah, that's Niskanen. Right. I'm not saying it wrong. I know these Canadian names. It's
very good.
It's Russian, right? It's not even Canadian. Anyway, they got into a fight, and it was two guys pounding away on visors, which was pathetic. And listen to the Flyers announcers cheering it on like it was something great, like he's standing up for his team. I'm looking at these two clowns, and then it turns out that they agreed to go to a fight. They agreed to fight. At the end, he's thanking him, and he's appreciating this kid for letting him fight. Lawton is, because he's the rookie. He's the young guy. And I'm thinking to myself, you're thanking the guy for letting you fight. What were you doing there? You pounded away on his shield. You had a concussion. You came back and you wanted to make your bones. Well, you're going to make your bones. Take off the helmets and fight and put some pain into this guy. He sat there and whacked his shield. He didn't even get a good shot in. This is going to beat the hell out of him. If he didn't have a helmet on, he'd be dead right now. That's how bad he got beat.
If he didn't have the helmet on, he'd probably have another concussion. The point is, and it happened the other night when Voracek fought too. There was a couple stop. I mean, like if I see, and it looked like I was watching it because by the grace of Cashy the King, I got tickets and went down and watched that Islanders game. Beautiful seats. Thank you very much.
Game too, man.
Great game. Yeah. It went to a shootout and went like 7 rounds in a shootout. But at one point, I thought Claude Giroux was going to like fight. So, what are these guys doing? And then I don't even. And looking at it, because if you're going to look down, if you're going to check down on your valuability of the players on this team, your best fighter is probably Simmons.
Right.
I don't want him fighting either, because right now he's the only guy that can score in this freaking team. I watch, and he had a horrible night. Giroux has had what? The Giroux line has had 4 bad games in a row now.
Right.
when LeCavier and two freaking unknown guys, Peter White and Belmare, whatever, I think he's on their line. When they're your best line for 3 games in a row, you got a freaking problem.
Right.
40-year-old guy who's out skating like half the Flyers team.
Right.
In that game, Cashy, I thought he had 3 good chances. It was really good goaltending, Alec and Mason that game. And I was watching, and I was floored at how bad the Flyers' top line was playing. It pissed me off. And then you see these other guys are just like getting this, and the unsung hero of this team, and he might not score goals because I followed him, I watched him because he had the job of containing Islanders captain. God, I can't think of his name. 91, but that was his job all night. He pretty much for the most part the last 3 games has shut down all the top lines. Sean Couturier, he might possibly be your best trade bait out there. Him and Simmons. At some point, you're going to have to pull the trigger on some of these guys, Cash.
I sit there and I watch this, and I listen to the announcers, Jim Jackson and Clement, and I respect both of them to a point. I mean, but they got to stop doing this acting stuff. I mean, after this fight, Clement was all excited about the standing up for the teams and this, that, and the other thing, and how great it was that he came back on the ice and did his thing. And Jim Jackson, it's like he's announcing a heavyweight fight there, and I'm saying to myself, what are you looking at? When is this team going to stop with this thuggery, trying to be a tough team? Look at the West. Look what's going on. You turn another game on, and it's just like different hockey. And then I have to listen to, and I like Hextall too, but he sounds just like Clarkey did 20 years ago, and Holmgren did 5 years ago. It's just like
it's the Kool-Aid.
Whatever it is, it's that mentality of they keep bringing in players. The wrong type of players. That's what they do. I look at this team right now. If they score goals, okay, they're winning right now. They're beating some teams, okay? But they're beating them. It's not fun hockey to watch. It's a matter of them outscoring teams that coming into town that really I don't think are prepared to play the Flyers the way they want them. The Islanders came in here. They were,
They thought it was going to be a rollover.
Not if it's a rollover. It's the Flyers.
They were looking past them.
Well, the name, not even that. The name doesn't reflect the team anymore. This is not the Flyers. This is not the freaking Bullies anymore, okay? And it's still managed, coached, and players are still put on this team like they are, okay? I don't want to hear the word enforcer anymore. I don't want to hear – we don't need enforcers.
You don't.
I'm hearing that. I don't want to hear enforcers anymore in hockey. There's no more enforcers. You hit a guy, you hit a guy. That's what you have to do.
At this point –
the fighting in this league is borderline stupid anymore.
At this point, I mean, I haven't checked, but one of the dumb moves we did in the offseason was this. Get rid of Scott Hartnell for RJ Umberger. You're basically trading 3 months of life because one's like 2 or 3 months older than the other for potential scoring who could, because Umberger, I guess, did pretty well in Columbus or whatever. But the one thing that Umberger doesn't do is forecheck hard, and when you need somebody to fight that you don't mind losing, he was the guy to do it. I didn't give a shit if Scott Hartnell was in the box taking a penalty for roughing or going after somebody that slashed through. Right. I didn't mind that. I mind it now that Simmons has to punch somebody in the face or whatever. One, because I don't want him breaking his freaking hand. And 2, I don't want him in the box for 2 minutes, 7 minutes, 10-minute misconduct. It's ridiculous because you're losing the only sniper on the team. And he's not even a true sniper. You're losing your top goal scorer. You wouldn't want, like, it would be the equivalent. I know I look at Mike and he's like, "Go look at the birds," because it's a hockey conversation. But look at it like this. You want. I'm looking at it from basketball. Your best point scoring guard or whatever in basketball, he shouldn't have to worry about pounding down the middle and fouling somebody because you want him for those shots later on in the game. Mm-hmm. You throw a disposable forward in there to take the foul, send it to somebody to the line or whatever you got to do. It's the same principle, and it's getting lost because all I see on this team anymore is role players.
Right. That's how it's been for years. It's been years of role player. They got lucky in the Stanley Cup run. You just watch the player. It's not hockey anymore. I don't go down to games anymore. I'd rather watch that stuff on TV because what I'm seeing down there doesn't reflect what I'm seeing in Anaheim, Chicago, Nashville. Now, even the New York Islanders hockey is far better to watch. It's just the type of players that are there. I mean, playmakers. I watch hockey, Flyers hockey. I don't see playmakers. It's not enjoyable to watch.
When I was at the game,
it's almost like you follow the Flyers to see them survive. They can survive the hockey game.
No, you at this point you sit there and go and I think I was at the game. And this is another sidetrack, but I was at the game and like when they won in the shootout and all this, there were people like, oh, you know, like yelling. There was a lot. I tell you what, Cashy, back in the day, you wouldn't have seen that many Islander fans in the stands there. There was a lot of them. And they were all chanting and cheering. And one guy made the stupidest remark. A Flyers fan goes, well, if your team didn't suck for so many years, you wouldn't be this good right now. Right. Well, guess what? They won 4 cups in a row in the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay? That's twice as many as the Flyers have in their resume. And that was just one decade. I think there's, you know, they got to understand this. You can't – mediocrity gets you nothing. Either you trade away and muck it and be tough. I mean, and you know, you've seen teams be rebuilt in basketball and football the same way, and even baseball to a point where baseball's got a better farm system, but at some point, you have to sit there and go, you know what? I need to build from scratch, and they're not doing it.
They just keep tweaking what they're, you know, bringing in different players. It's like we were wanting this team to blow. We were wanting them to blow up this team since they did it with Lindros, where they blew up the team. They bring Lindros in here. They took a beating for a couple years, and that was the way. Well, not even a couple years. It took 1 year for them to get back up on top.
And then a year and a half later, they had Recchi, Leclerc. They had
we can rehash all that crap. But I mean, what I'm saying is they never blew up, but they didn't blow this team up. They didn't start from scratch. I don't think they're capable of it. I don't think they have the right climate or the culture in that front office to rebuild a team. Nor is Ed Snyder have the patience to do it. That's the number one thing.
Yeah, but doesn't Ed Snyder own the Sixers?
He did own the Sixers.
No, he doesn't anymore.
No, not anymore. What happened was
he gave it to Josh Harris. Josh Harris.
Right. What he did, he owned the Sixers during the Croce years, right? And Croce got
during the retool rebuild.
Right, the rebuild. And what happened was Croce got so much out of that Snyder didn't like it. So all of a sudden, Croce was history. Get him out of here. It's no. It's you know he has to have that thing that
he has to be the one.
Yeah,
I did it.
Right. That's
that's been his whole thing. Remember before they were even the Bullies, when they drafted, and this might be something, and a little history for the Flyers, because Mikey probably doesn't know, they got their ass beat 1 year.
Yeah, the St. Louis thing. They got beat up.
And that was his statement, and that was his stamp on the team. That's never going to happen again.
Yeah, well, that's
and from that point on, no, I don't mean it for the incident of being the Bullies. I mean it from this. From that point on, he thought, I can't trust anybody to take care of my team but me. It hasn't let go since.
Yeah, it's such crap though, man. This is different. The era of sports now is when you got to pay to play. Number one, you got to get players in here, especially in hockey. I mean, the hockey pool in the minor leagues and coming out of college, players don't come right up. Very rarely you get players coming and playing hockey right away. You know, you got to know how to focus on talent. And this team has never really brought up talent. If you think about it, all the talent that they brought up, they give them 1 year. I mean, you could go down a list of people, right? With Bobrovsky, where they didn't give him any time, and you can go to the players, the amount of players they brought up in the '90s, okay, in the early 2000s that they didn't give a chance to. So many of them. Some of them have cups already. And I'm not just talking about the guys in LA. I'm talking prior.
I know.
To Zubris.
One of my favorite young prospects back then was, and you brought up Zubris,
right,
who used to boast with like 5,000 squats a day.
Yeah.
The guy had but the one that really bothers me is Seidenberg now.
Right.
Because they're too small to play.
Right.
Then why did you draft him?
Yeah.
If he was too small.
because once again, they want that player who can hit and pound and make the fans go crazy. And it's funny because every time there's a fight down there, you hear the announcers and the people, oh, this is what they come for. No, that's not what they come for anymore. They didn't come to see two guys pound away on each other's helmets and then walk around shaking their hands because now they can't hold a stick because their knuckles are all busted up. They came to see enforcers. If you're going to have an enforcer beat up a player who just pounded you on, if Giroux gets hit by somebody, and then I don't even know who the enforcers are on this team, to tell you the truth.
There isn't any. There isn't any.
There's not, but it's almost like they want, it's like, oh yeah, that inspires the team. What inspires a hockey team is goal scoring.
The best thing that could have happened, Cashy, was Zach Ronaldo getting suspended. Since he's been suspended,
it's a moron.
They're 6-1. And he was 6-1.
And I was 6-1. You know what? I was seeing him on the front cover of websites and stuff. Like Ronaldo was starting to become the face of the team. And I hear the announcers. They love Clement and Jackson.
Clement
they love Ronaldo.
Z-Train.
Yeah,
Z-Train.
They got nicknames for this clown who gets stupid penalties.
Zach Attack.
And it's always like, well, he's Zach's in there hitting everybody. He's rallying up the team. That doesn't put the puck in the net. That makes you do more icing, okay? It doesn't do anything for you in this hockey. It just doesn't work anymore that way.
Now, you talk about the Flyers giving up on people too early, and this is I don't know much, but this name stuck out to me. The Blackhawks are a good team, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Patrick Sharp's a pretty good player, right?
Oh, that was another one we gave up on.
We handed him to them, correct?
Handed to him.
Yes.
Handed to him. Say, hey, you can have this future all-star player. Yeah, all right. I thought, just making sure.
Yeah. There's been several. There was a couple on the Blackhawks, a couple on the Tampa Bay that we gave up on. It's just
you know what? If we sat here and went on the web and picked out, if they had a category we could pick out saying, dumb moves by the Flyers on young players, it would be here all night running through, counting the Stanley Cups that they have on them.
Yeah, I hate to say this because we're seeing dumb moves. At this point, I would give up Couturier for a stud defenseman. I'd give up a couple of them right now because at this point, I mean,
why?
And because at this point you need more home on defense.
But again, I'm not a hockey fan. I know enough about hockey to know and understand this, but if you're not a contender, why would you give up a young player for a stud defenseman
or draft pick or something good?
But why? That's like as a Sixers fan saying I would trade Michael Carter-Williams for a stud Al Jefferson defense. Like
I'll tell you why. Because
shouldn't you hold on to the young assets?
Yes, but in this case, I would say no because you have nobody good in your farm at defense. You need to start around somewhere. You need to go out there and find somebody in their mid-20s that you could sign for a good 4 years. Hang on to.
If there was mid-20s stud defenseman hanging around, I'm pretty sure everybody would want those.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying I would do it in a heartbeat. I'm borderline training like Giroux too. I have been for the last year.
He's overrated. He's
very overrated anymore.
They bring back Timo. They have a press conference for this guy like this is the savior. He's 39 years old. He's got 5 concussions, right? I mean,
blood clots.
We got a guy that has blood clots. Could drop dead any minute on the ice. We're bringing him back. We have fanfare. He's up the podium. He's sitting there with Hex on. That's what really started ticking me off. I'm like, what are you doing? This guy shouldn't even playing on this team. He's taking up a spot that a young kid could be playing on right now. Now that's the whole thing that kills me. I don't get their thought process. This team isn't winning the Stanley Cup for another 4 years at least.
And you look at it too.
Close.
You've gone from
Mason's broken down. He's
all of a sudden
he's been a lot lately.
I know. All of a sudden but here's the weird thing. We used to be a team at the Flyers. We're going to the Cup. We're going to the Cup. If we used to be that. We used to be that arrogant and used to be that cocky and love our team that much to think that we had a shot at the Cup. Go back 5 years plus prior, and that's what we thought. Now
we were told we have a shot at the Cup.
Well, and we wanted to believe it. Yeah. Now we're this. If we can just get into the playoffs, maybe we get past the second or third round, and we're happy with that. I'm not. And I know, but that's what you're doing. And then it's like, well, if we get past the first round, we'll get Pittsburgh in the second round. So at least make it to the third round because they know that they can nail a coffin on Pittsburgh. It's that kind of like pathetic. And now you look, the backup goalie, Zepp. Well,
I can't even say his name.
Zepp. I mean, no, actually, he's actually going to be. I think he's going to be a pretty solid goalie someday.
We don't need solid.
No, I mean, but compared to what we've had here, because
I've heard that so many times.
Just look at Emery though. Emery's trade bait now because you're not going anywhere.
Emery, I can't believe he came back. That's the killer about the whole thing.
Yeah, he's trade bait. You know, you need because he's a very good, solid number 2. Somebody you can take with a very good winning percentage. Blah blah blah. Your backup goalie with Zeppa's hurt. He got hurt in the Phantoms game the other night. And then, Mason pulls his back out, skating, which is even more scary. As somebody who has a bad back, that's not good. Mason, I think, is going to be done forever.
He didn't move. He
didn't even push hard.
Yeah.
Now you have Emery backing up. And who is your backup in Emery now? 21-year-old rookies that we drafted 2 years ago.
Sensation.
No, he's not a Stolars.
Yeah.
He lives right near Great Adventure. That's where he grew up in New Jersey. There.
Great Adventure.
Yeah. So he's happy being part of the home team.
All right. Give us a call if you dare. 267-563-2893. Sports Goombahs radio web show. Live from the 515 studios here in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I'm Cashy the King. I got my chef to the left, Brendan B. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. Listen, shop 344tees.com for your favorite men's, women's, and kids apparel. T-shirts, hoodies, sweats, and more with every name brand available. My man Larry Gilman will take care of all your printing and embroidery needs. Whether it's for business, sports, organizations, or maybe you're just opening up a pizzeria. 344tees.com will get it done. Call now, 844-542-2774. That's 844-542-2774. Their customer apparel marketing team are available not just to only give you the product you need, but give you the support and custom service that best matches your goal and budgets. Call 844-542-2774. That's 344tees.com.
BZI Group Inc. for your individual and small group health insurance needs. BZI offers free, instant online insurance quotes and applications from major health insurance carriers. The BZI Group is dedicated to a no-nonsense approach to health insurance. They focus on giving you the insurance you need in a timely and cooperative manner. Whether you're looking for individual and family, group, seniors, life, or long-term coverage, BZI can help. For additional information or to speak with an insurance expert, call 1-800-431-4834 or email them at www.bzigroup.com.
Stop paying your bookie each week and start collecting. They have the best handicappers in the world, all in one place. And their only job is to win you money. Check Jeff Brandes and all the experts at trendbetting.com. Trend betting theory is simple. Trends dominate in sports, and you will win in the long run by following the dominant trend. You will lose in the long run if you buck the dominant trend. Simple enough. That's trendbetting.com.
When you need a good roof over your head, call Seal Roofing. They've been keeping folks warm and dry for many years now and are proud of their work. Seal Roofing and Contracting does it all, whether you need simple repairs before the next big rainy season or a whole new roof. Maybe you need new siding or windows. You can be certain that when you hire Seal Roofing, you're hiring the best. Available 7 days a week with 24-hour emergency service and free estimates. Call 215-533-4066. That's 215-533-4066 or visit sealroofing.net.
Has your home or business been damaged by a recent storm and you're left to deal with the insurance company to make things right? Turn to Apple Public Adjusters and meet owners Patrick O'Donnell and Mark Stendardo. If you've suffered recent storm damage to your home or business, call 267-538-3373. That's 267-538-3373 and protect your rights and maximize your benefits.
kicks in that song. Cashy the King here. I got my chef to the left, Rant and Beef. Mikey the Wall. Gonna bounce some stuff off us. These guys little news.
I got my little weekend review.
Weekend review from Mikey the Wall. Brought to you by. Let's see who's this brought to by? Guys at Auto Magic Car Care. Dun, dun, dun. These guys will shine your car up to such a shine you'll be able to see yourself in HD. Nah, seriously. You need your car polished up nice. You want to detail top to bottom, front to back, inside and outside, the engine, the whole 9 yards. Give Auto Magic Car Care a call, 215-322-2561. Check them out. Their brand new website. Yeah, it's up and going, baby. Auto Magic Car Care. AutoMagicCarCare.com. 215-322-2561. Mike Liddon and the birthday boy, Mikey Primo Jr. All right. What do you got for us, Mike?
All right. We had like you said, we didn't have any headline news. There were no Super Bowls. There was nothing out there. So we're digging around, looking for the weekend review.
Tough one. Tough week, man. Tough week. Usually we get some kind of material coming out of us. I'm always rooting and howling about material. Got nothing this week. So what do you
throw some things out? Let's see what you guys, Grammys last night.
Oh, I was just gonna say, what did you watch?
Did you watch? And do you care?
Okay, let me start with this. I want to get to Paul McCartney. Number one, he wasn't plugged in. You couldn't hear him, and his mic wasn't on either, so you couldn't hear his guitar. And he's dancing around there, and he's so out of place. And I thought, what did they do? They just
it's a young man's game.
But what did they even throw him in there for? The guy's 67 years old.
He had a song with them.
I know, but it's just it was a shame because he was the Beatle in the background. It looked odd. It looked odd, and I didn't hear nothing he was playing. And I tuned in and out of that. I mean, it seemed awfully gospel last night, didn't it? Like everything was done like a.
I don't watch.
It's awful,
and I don't care.
Yeah, it was awful. I mean, they truck Prince out there. Great guitar player, but just a complete lunatic. You know what I mean? For the most part,
he can't weigh 100 pounds.
Yeah, he's got to be in his 60s now, isn't he?
He actually is.
He has to be. I mean, he was when I was a kid.
When he was a kid, he was like 30 plus and was kind of creepy then.
Add 30 years onto it,
and it's just
the same outfits.
It's like I can't tell if he's not shaved or he's just dirty. I mean, he's one of those people that looks it just don't look right.
Yeah, the whole thing was disturbing. Come to think of it, the Grammys used to be, all these award shows are like that.
That's the thing is, it's not so much that I don't care about the Grammys. I just don't care about award shows.
Listen, it wasn't going to trump Shameless. I can tell you that much.
It's we'll lot of TV on last night. Your show is back.
Walking Dead, baby.
I didn't watch it, but I would rather watch that than Grammys. There's a lot of things I'd rather watch last night than
I brought it up because I figured we were probably gonna. I pulled it. There was only one show that pretty much beat them in the run there, and it came close to. I mean, you would think Sunday Night Football would have been up there, and it was. And the highest rated show was 25. It had 25 million viewers. The Eagles Dallas game. Mm-hmm. But Walking Dead was nipping at the heels. It's
a phenomenon.
It's up there every week now. And for a cable show too. So
this
going up
Fox,
against a network.
This isn't NBC.
This is
AMC.
AMC.
I thought that was for old people movies.
American movie classics. Who would have thought that?
No. A lot of these channels are now throwing out like these high rated shows that. You said who was watching AMC before? Who was watching?
No, what was that? What's that other network? FX.
Yeah, FA. Exactly. FX is a lot of these. The Sons of It. I don't watch it, but again, a lot of the in American Horror Story. I don't know what channel that one's on.
That's FX too.
These are channels that you shouldn't be getting these high rating shows. But.
And they're they're getting cold farms. Oh man, I can't think of it. There was the FX is like one of the other big ones, and they got like what's that show? The Americans and a lot of good shows on, baby.
Okay,
It's not
shows.
shameless.
Okay,
it's not
shows.
shameless.
I mean, come on.
It's not The Wire.
It's doubling. It's
No,
doubling.
I do like
Yeah.
Shameless.
Was it good last night?
I don't watch it last night.
Oh, okay. Good.
It's
No, I know
doubles.
it's problem.
I was catching up on my Dateline.
I'll tell you what it is. You know what's problem with Shameless is
DVR.
going to start happening. It gets too out of hand. It becomes unbelievable.
I know,
You know
a
what
lot
I
of
mean?
shows when they jump the shark like that.
And you know they got Fiona, man. There's no way a girl could do the things she's doing and that chaos, and it's just too much. Right?
There's a lot of shows that get that way. I never watched a single episode, but I remember seeing the promos, and it's Nip Tuck.
Yeah, right.
I never watched that show,
right.
but I've seen the promos of like this guy he becomes a full-fledged woman with
you know what?
and he gets a dick in the side of his head.
I see.
Like he just does these random. I'm like, this would never happen.
Yeah, I see. And with Shameless, I saw it last season start to happen. It was like some of the stuff is not real. I mean, you like a show that can possibly be some realism to it, and then when they start going over that line, that's when it ends. You know, that's when
unless you're gonna be full-fledged fantasy like The Walking Dead.
I was just gonna say that's why I like that. I like my shows because what was another good one that I liked, but then it was starting to get it got a little annoying was Homeland.
Mm-hmm.
Never saw
that show too. Again,
it gets a little far-fetched.
But my little brother was
what?
into it,
really?
so I saw a lot of them just from being in the same room, and I'm like, this is so stupid.
Like Homeland is one of those that was good, and then it got weird, and even Dexter, and I love Dexter. That was a great show. It could get out there a little bit.
That guy's such an awful actor.
Yeah.
He's such an awful actor.
He is. But ironically, it fit
Chris,
for that person. It fit for that personality.
It's no Chris Pratt.
No, Chris Pratt.
Oh God,
we all know that.
You know, the mock as you will that they made more money than the NFL though. They did $6 billion just in licensing. I
don't want those two dudes' names on this show. Okay, I don't want them. I don't ban them. I don't care about them two guys. They don't bring me listeners, and no one gives a crap about them. All right, believe me, they're not going to draw anybody to this show. Chris Pratt. What's the last name of that guy?
Chris Evans.
Done. End the story. I don't want to hear
no
names
more Chris's on the show.
Unless they get their heads blown off, I don't want to hear about them. All right. What else you got?
I was going to ask you your opinions on Kanye, who decided to do his annual Interrupt the Best album again.
The thing is, he can't sing, okay? And he's a joke. He married a goof, and now he's got to be relevant somewhere. So this is how he becomes relevant at this awards ceremony. I mean, I saw him up there doing his thing. I tuned in doing it. It just tune in, tune out. I mean, it's enough of him already.
My thing is, what is your obsession with Beyonce? Why is every year she needs to have the best album? If I was Jay-Z, I'd be like, dude, relax. That's my girl. Relax. I got this. Worry about your girl and her career.
Well, because he's worried about his girl and his career. He's going downhill with that family. I mean, for crying out loud, the hell is going on over in that household?
It's one thing for a couple years ago when he picks on Taylor Swift, who was kind of newish at the time. Beck has been around for 30 years. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. That was a little bit of bullying a little girl. Yeah, you're bullying a little girl. That was just being an asshole. Last night is just being stupid.
Stupid and disrespectful. I don't enjoy Beck's music, but I
had a couple of good songs.
That's not the point.
But I respect Beck. Like, I know he's been around for so long, so you're going to interrupt. Like, if he's been in this for 30 years and he finally won the biggest award of his career, get the fuck off the stage. This is his moment. That pisses me off. Well, I'm not a Beck fan.
Well, now I didn't watch. How the hell did he just walk up from? He's in the front row. Yeah. He was in the front row.
First of all, he was mocking the whole situation because he did it before. That's what it started out being mocking. And then I heard afterwards,
he really
said something like that. But in the beginning, it was like he did the slow motion thing, and everybody laughed. Kanye, goofball, whatever you're doing, go. And
if you just did that, I'm fine because you're making. I mean, I'm not fine, of course. Get out. Like I said, get out of Beck's spot.
You know what? I can't.
But at least you're making him. You're kind of joking about. You're kind of acknowledging I messed up before. But then you said right after the show, he's on the post-show red carpet saying, "No, I'm dead serious. Beyonce should have won. Beck should give that award to Beyonce."
It's him, the Kardashians, and then you got the goofball who's getting in the car accident. Somebody thought, what's his name? What was
Bruce Jenner?
What is going on?
What's her name?
What's its name? I mean, what is it? It's so nuts. It's so bizarre what's going on with those women over there. What they do to people.
I don't know what's going.
They're the witches of Eastwick, man. They gotta be. Now people are changing body parts for them.
Well, isn't it funny? Like, he must be scared right now because there's certain things you just don't want to hear in the headlines of, and I'm like flipping through stuff all day long, like looking for topics for the show. And it's like Bruce Jenner this, Bruce Jenner, and the three things you don't want to hear in a headline if you're going through what he's going through right now is probes, hit from behind, and skid marks. You don't want to hear any of them. Any
Skid
of those.
marks.
Yeah, all the stuff sliding into the other cars and all that stuff.
I thought at first it was just a rumor that he wants to be a girl.
I thought it was one of those.
I thought it was
one of those.
I thought it was a joke.
Yeah, I thought it was like, I know he's getting a little feminine from too much Botox. No, he really legitimately wants to be a girl. Like that's.
I think he's jealous. He's jealous of his ex-wife. They're not married. They're not married. Right? I mean, what is he having to do with that family anymore?
No,
no.
He has 2 kids.
They were married. He was married.
I know they were married. I know. Understand that.
Yeah, but he has 2 kids with them.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're quite divorced yet. They're probably still legally married, but
I don't keep up with the Kardashians, so I don't know.
I can't stand it. I can't. In fact, the name Kardashian was just put on this show is making me a little queasy here. I'm going to throw up.
Yeah, but at least we're saying on a negative light.
What is there? There's no positive.
I know, but I'm saying at least we're down talking.
Yeah,
that's
they put that whole
little
clan on a boat and float it out and just blow it up right there in the sea, man. Be done with it. Let the sharks take care of it. Let them sort it out there in the ocean. You know what I mean? Unreal. It's top news. It's right on the top of Google. It's the top of Yahoo. It's it's a big deal. It's
because it's a big deal amongst women and teenagers.
I don't get it because what they're doing is so. Who wants to be them? Can't figure it out.
They think everyone does.
They're it's such a fraud. And whatever. Let's move on.
Our old buddy Terrell Owens.
T.O.
He's in the news. He owes the IRS $100,000.
Sure. And he's going to Donald Trump's going to help him get that.
That's why I said, I think I made this joke a couple weeks ago when you first said he was on the show. I thought he legitimately wants a job with Donald Trump. This isn't for charity.
No.
Terrell Owens wants this job. He needs this job.
You know what? And look, because we knew so much, and maybe it was just because I expected a lot of good entertainment value. I thought like he was going to bring some more. Like I would be able to come in here every week and say, "Yo, did you see T.O. on Celebrity Apprentice tonight or whatever?"
He's not smart.
My answer would have always been no. I didn't.
But because just for material alone, as a sports figure, just how he would do sit-ups in the driveway, he would do this. He was just so out there. I figured he would, but man, he did not.
You're not out there anymore when you're broke.
Yeah,
I know that. Well, that's what I mean.
You can be flamboyant when you're rich. When you're broke, you're.
But I think
it humbles you.
He's had the NFL for 3 years already, and and in his last years he was worthless to the NFL. I just figured that T.O. He's just hanging on to those letters, man, as long as he possibly can. And now they have no value anymore because nobody wants to hear him talk. They don't want to hear him on sports shows.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He really didn't do anything. When he was supposedly in charge of the tasks on the show, he was like monotone. He wasn't dynamic at all
because
he wasn't even a personality.
You know what he was? He was the Donald getting somebody who's going to draw some eyes. He drew T.O. fans. He got ratings. Remember, Trump could care less about anything but ratings and cash on his show. He wants to be the best show, and here's what it is. It's.
If he wants to be the best show, he's got to come up with a new show.
Yeah, he can't come up with a new show. He doesn't have the ability. This is his show. This is his thing.
Does anyone other than Brendan still watch the?
I didn't know it was still on.
Apprentice?
I didn't know it was still on until I read the T.O. thing online. I didn't know that Trump still had that show.
It's always F grade celebrities out there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, T.O.
he T.O.'s the IRS some $100,000.
Well. It's not a whole lot. $100,000.
It's not
a whole lot. Oh,
considering that of how much he.
But that means his autograph ain't worth shit then because he can't.
He could write.
I always thought this too. Is how do you go broke when you're a celebrity, like an athlete? Just sell a bunch. Just sign things.
Well,
just sign this remote control and have somebody for $100.
Unfortunately, that era went out with the internet, with the cards and that kind of stuff because there's nothing in this world is rare anymore. And you want something.
It's just got to be really, really old now.
Yeah, it's got to be and
rare.
You find on the internet, it's almost,
all right. Then autograph your high school jock strap and sell for $1,000.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. What are you gonna do?
Look, I have about
T.O.'s not my problem.
I have about I'm gonna say maybe 2,000 comic books still left from when I was a kid and saved just because I figured they'd be worth something.
Were any of them autographed by Chris Evans?
No. That was way before all that. But I'm just saying at that point, I mean, like people are.
I'm gonna come up with some crap on those guys next week. Okay, for sure.
Take some dirt.
They're gonna get some dirt on these two clowns.
People that that were notoriety in their field at the time. So like Burn X-Men and stuff. I have some comics of that were of value, but even then, because at one point the industry, like Cashy said, the market was up there. And once all the movies started coming up, it jumped up for a while. And even the ones that I have that are like 20 years old still ain't worth a lot anymore.
Anyway, so the NBA All-Star game's coming up this week.
Oh, did you play that already?
No, I didn't play it. It's the next weekend.
NBA?
Yeah. It's in Brooklyn this year.
Oh, well, there you go.
So there's a very trendy New York City strip club. It's offering free lap dances to all NBA players.
Scores?
I didn't look it up.
Well, I know it.
Probably scores.
I was at work. I wasn't going to Google the strip club. I got a meeting with HR tomorrow, but no, yeah, they're offering free lap dances to any and all NBA players. You don't have to be an all-star; just have to be an NBA player. Come on in, free lap dances.
There you go.
So I figured,
yeah, agents included, and
agents.
Yeah.
No, you're not included. Got to be a player.
More importantly, right?
Also, the All-Star game this weekend. You got the dunk contest.
Well, that's always exciting.
So, and these are the this is star-studded field. This is probably up there with like the Jordan and the Vince Carters. You have
Is it Vince Carter?
You have Zach LaVine is number one. No relation to Adam, by the way. You have Mason Plumlee.
Zach LaVine, a Jewish guy? Duncan?
Yeah. And Mason Plumlee, a nice 6'10" white guy from Duke. So you know he's gonna be throwing it down. Then we have Victor Oladipo. And we have Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I mean, this is about as star-studded as it gets in the slam dunk contest. Do we watch this anymore? Or like, is this a thing? Like,
I haven't seen a slam dunk contest in 10 years. I can't remember the last slam. I think Julius Erving was to tell you the truth. That's not doesn't the way these
did
players
they even have a dunk contest?
Yeah, they had it back. They had it back. He won. He was the first one. He was he started that baseline foul line dunk. He started that whole thing. I never, the dunk now is so everything in basketball that to have a contest is just might as well do it during the game. At this point,
they basically do it.
Yeah.
I've seen better dunks in the game.
Yeah, it's not a rarity, so it's not like and everybody can do it now. And the dunks, there's no more dunks to see. Now they're at the point where they're jumping over stuff, they're jumping through stuff. They have 6 guys throwing balls, they're juggling, they're smoking a cigarette on the way up there. It's they've run out of dunks.
I think the problem is also, I mean, like I said, just right off the 4 names. Back in the day, first of all, it used to be 8 guys, which was better, and you would have real people, not Zach LaVine and Mason Plumlee. It'd be like, at least with the baseball home run derby, you're still getting top home run hitters. You're not getting Marlon Byrd, against the second baseman for the Pirates. Like, that's the problem, is that NBA dunk contest is a bunch of nobodies for the most part.
So I just Googled it, and I got 1976 ABA slam dunk contest, and what it was, Cashy's right. Julius Erving won the first one. But here it says there was a format each competitor had to follow in which they must attempt 5 dunks in a row in under 2 minutes. So it was actually like a drill, so to speak, as I guess similar to honing your qualities in a game, kind of like a skills competition now.
The dunk contest jumped the shark when Nate Robinson had 84 attempts to beat Andre Iguodala. That was awful.
Did you see that? I mean, know what?
I remember
Come
that.
to think of it, that's the one where Iverson flipped the ball behind the basket for Iguodala.
Probably, yeah.
And the whole that, what? It's funny you should bring that up. I remember that because
that's when it just went to hell.
Iguodala and Iverson was helping him out by tossing the ball behind the basket. He had this behind the basket dunk, and you're right. The guy missed his first dunk, and I thought
he missed like 18 straight.
Right, and I thought to myself, well, that's it. Why did they give him second, third, and fourth? I didn't understand that. The whole idea is not to give him. And then when he finally made it, they thought it was the best dunk of all. And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of clownery is this? And that's funny you should bring that up. That's the last dunk, because I remember Iverson flipped the ball from behind the backboard, and Iguodala took it from behind the backboard, bring it down and around, and put up in the basket. And that hit, and he took him twice, and he hit it. But that wasn't the best stuff, because who you're telling me is the guy that was out there 18 times back and forth.
Well, because he's 5'9", it looks more impressive. But that's what I say. It's a joke when you're trying that many times.
And it started in '84 in the NBA. It was in the ABA for a while, but it didn't become official until '84 in there. And I just look at the name. Spud Webb won in '86. So no offense, I think I was taller than him, right? So that can't have too much credibility.
Yeah, but I don't think
the Spudster had hops, man. He was a phenomenal.
But dunks always look better when you're 5'9" as opposed to 6'9". They look better because you got the air underneath you, so so much more. Right. Although I do think it's a snub that Sixers own KJ McDaniels didn't make it. I'm a little upset with that.
He's had some nice
He's a highlight reel. He had one tonight.
Yeah, he does it. Right
before I left, I was watching. He's in the lane.
You know what's funny? He gives McGinnis hope
I love listening to McGinnis.
I feel bad for him.
He's so good.
Because I listened to him the other day only because it was background noise for me, and he's got so much heart.
Mm-hmm.
And he loves the Sixers, or he loves calling basketball games, and he's by himself. And he's got to, and at the beginning of the year, I felt real bad. Now they're winning some basketball games.
You take out that early start, though, in 17, they're like a 500 team.
They're screwing up.
Well, luckily, they're still only like the second or third worst.
They're screwing up.
So,
well, what that tells me is how good a coach Brett Brown is.
Yeah.
Okay, and the fact that he's sticking with it makes me feel like the Sixers organization, they got a plan here.
They definitely do.
The plan's not real exciting in the first couple years. It's not going to be. But when you look at what they're doing, and it's, you don't have to be a rocket science to see what they're doing, but it takes nuts to do it, for a team to want to take off 5 years. And that's what we're talking about here, man.
I mean, they're starting like 3 guys who won the D-League last year.
Right.
Like,
and
they're winning games.
But because they're coming together, they're playing as a team, which is basketball you don't see in the NBA because everybody's got their stars all put it in the hoop.
Mm-hmm.
Now they don't have a guy that does that now. So now they got to develop a team. And you know what? Like I said in the beginning of the year, I said if they can come, look attractive to free agents, that's what's important here. If say next year the Sixers look like they have a decent young team that can win, that's won 25, 30 games, possibly. Not this year, maybe, but in general, if a veteran free agent sees that, well, I don't say veteran. I see a guy who's got anywhere from 5 to 10 more years on his second contract, looking for a team that's got dough because they don't have any big contracts right now.
And we have plenty of money.
Right, so that could be attractive to it. A guy who's playing for OKC right now who might want to leave. You know what I mean? Or something like that.
Which he is soon.
Yeah, right. So you know what? Don't be surprised if the Sixers aren't gathering money for that when they have a team that contend. And you bring a guy like him in here, and all of a sudden you got, and especially you're in the East too.
That's the thing. I mean, no matter how well they're playing now, it's still.
Wait, Durant, is he happy over there, or I can't tell because
he was hurt, and right now they're like the 9 or 10 seed out west.
But here's the thing: he's in Oklahoma City, man. When
There's
you're an NBA
there.
team, you got to be in New York, Boston. I would love to say Philly, but you don't have to say Philly. Chicago. You got to be there's big market towns to get that kind of notoriety. Well. LeBron made his bones in Miami, so he can go anywhere he wants now. He can go back to Cleveland because he's already a national figure, or a world figure, to say the most. So you don't have to worry about where he's playing. Durant hasn't gotten to that yet. He doesn't, and I don't think you're going to get there in OKC.
And as well as they're playing right now, which they do look much better. At the end of the year, they're still going to be one of the 3 worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
So this core with this cap and another top 3 pick.
Right.
I mean, that's attractive.
And they're not playing with your big guy right now. They don't even have him.
Yeah,
here.
exactly. So next year you get Embiid, and they have Sarge, who I forget who said it, but I was listening to something. It was one of the NBA draft expert guys said.
This Sarge, is he a forward or at the center?
Forward.
He's a forward, right?
And what they're saying is, if he didn't get drafted last year, if Sarge entered the NBA draft this year, they said he'd be in the top 2 picks for the draft.
Well, that's big time, man.
He's killing it right now in Europe. I was pull up a thing. He won the EuroLeague MVP for November, and that's his. I haven't checked anything since then, but he basically won Player of the Month over in Europe. So I mean, they said he would be a top pick. So
you see what the Sixers have done
is what the Flyers have not done.
Exactly right. Flyers won't take that opportunity to be down the cellar and be disgraceful to get to this point.
And that's what the Sixers were doing for a while. And it wasn't working. When they had that Iguodala core, it was like, all right, we'll fill in with Ratliff here. We'll fill in with Bynum here, who busted. Or we'll fill in with all these guys that they try to bring in to kind of plug in. Like, oh, maybe we'll be the 6th seed this year. Like, no, just blow it up.
Yeah.
And now look at them. They're playing better, and they have all the money in the world, and they're actually in a much better situation now.
Well, what I watched the other night was I watched the game. Mm-hmm. It actually was they're playing.
It's fun to watch.
Well,
them.
yeah, I haven't seen this kind of ball being played since the other Brown was here, where it's actually you're dishing the ball off, you're giving it to the open man, everybody's moving left and right, nobody's standing still, and it works. It works because it also makes the defense on the other team work, and that's key, wearing them down.
They're not a rollover anymore. They used to be. They just played. They just played the Warriors tonight, who are the number 1 team in basketball. They beat us by 4.
Yeah, that's a win.
Yeah,
that's a win. What was it, 17-point line?
Probably they've covered like almost every game.
They're a bad bet. Yeah, you're exactly right.
And it's funny because I was looking at one of their lines of the day. Who did they just beat? I forget who it was. They were down 16, came back and won by like 11 or 12, and they were at home. We're playing a struggling the Denver, who has lost like 7 straight or something like that. They come here. We're still 8.5, 9-point dogs. I'm like, we're better than them, and then we went out and spanked them. So, I mean, yeah, they're definitely
Sixers were a good bet right now to cover.
They really are,
because what you're seeing is teams are playing to their level when they get here. You know,
I wish I had the numbers. I wish I had the numbers in front of me of what they were against the spread in the last like 20. It's probably above 500.
The mindset here is that coming into Philly, okay, they're a pushover. And you guys will play that way, especially on a long road trip where you're coming into the East and you're playing around. You get caught up here because what happens here, and it's obvious, you can see it, the Sixers play basketball. They're playing. Even though they're bad, they still play. So when another team comes in here, where other teams, they play, sometimes
what teams were doing for a little bit was resting their stars.
Right.
And then we beat like 2 straight playoff teams, and like, okay, we need to stop doing that because they're going to beat us.
But what the Sixers are doing when they're down by 25 points in the fourth quarter, they're still playing because they're playing for jobs. Yeah. So another team's like, oh man, it just keep coming. So 25 whittles down to 10 to 7 by 5. By the time the game ends, they're covering their spreads.
That's how that Denver game was. I was listening to on the radio. We were down 16 points. We went on like I think it was like a 37-6 run or something like that. Like we were, next thing I knew, we were up 12.
Right.
I'm like, geez, like that's a good comeback.
Because guys are coming off the bench on the other team. Like, oh man, they're still playing. What are they doing? We're up 25 points. These guys are breaking our nuts down there, and they're cutting the scoring. And that's that. And eventually, teams are being like that. They're losing ball games because they're tired or they're not interested, and they lose.
Oh, it's just speaking to the fact. Not a basketball guy, but you go to the point when it's hard to get motivated after you've taken yourself out of the game mentally to come back and go, oh, all right, it's the Sixers. It's only one game.
Yeah.
They're going to beat. Oh, I can't believe they came back. Blah blah. It just goes, to the saying, when you're up, you bury them.
You have to.
You don't ever let any team come back in any sport.
It's easy to lose that
focus.
That focus when you're playing a Sixers team they're not a good team, and you're up by 60 points. You're like, this is over. But then it's not over, and it's like, oh, all right, now I've got to turn it back on. By that point, it's too late because they're already hot. You're ice cold. Next thing you know, you just lost by double digits to one of the 3 worst teams in the NBA.
You know what it's like when you're. I was never good at shooting baskets, but hitting a ball, you hit a ball, you get in a groove. Same thing with shooting. Yeah, shooting balls, you get in a groove. And then if you don't try, and you're like, okay, if I don't care, if I miss it, it's the same thing. You're just gonna come into a rut.
Get one more NBA point, then we'll move on to something else. But it's easy to pick on the Knicks these days.
What their owner, man?
You see their owner, yeah. So he gets an email from a fan, or I guess maybe a former fan, and Dolan responds with, "I'm just gonna give you cliff notes."
I had that here. It was one of my things.
You are a sad person.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing, but I'll bet your life is a mess, and you're a hateful mess. He caps it off. There's more to it, but I'm not going to get into it. He calls him, you're an alcoholic, probably.
Yep.
It says, maybe, blah, blah, blah. In the meantime, start rooting for the Nets because the Knicks don't want you.
Here's the
way to treat your fans.
Yeah, here's the thing about that. I didn't know who that guy was. I know who he is now.
Dolan. I only know him because he gets booed every NBA draft.
Right. He's got a lot of dough. Of course, he was an alcoholic years ago. I mean, he's recovering or whatever. He just lost his mind there. I mean, he's pissed off. His team is so bad. His general manager isn't the guy that he thought he was.
First of all, could you imagine writing an email to an owner and he responds to you?
Yeah, right.
You'd never expect him to respond to you.
First of all, I'm putting that on the wall, put a frame around it.
I'm sure he did.
Some bitch hates me. Look at this. Yeah. I like it. I'm happy with that.
I mean, you got to assume he's getting thousands of I guess if his email is public knowledge, he's probably getting lots of emails. The fact that he responded to you, that's amazing. I mean, that's funny. I mean, that's a Knicks though. They're worse. They're in worse shape than the Sixers.
Who's still on the Knicks?
Amari,
Carmelo, and that Carmelo's out, right? Is he playing or?
I don't know if he's playing or not, but he's still on the roster. Yeah, still getting paychecks.
There's Stoudemire disappeared from the NBA.
He was on top of the world. I mean, he was in Phoenix.
Yeah, what happened?
He had a couple knee surgeries. Yeah, got paid. and then went to New York, where apparently everyone goes to New York and just
That's
stops
it, man.
trying.
That's the Buffalo Bills of basketball.
It's worse. Raiders are way worse than the Buffalo Bills.
Well, but the Raiders are on the way up.
The Bills just won like 9 games, I think.
Yeah, but the Bills playing the snow, Raiders playing the heat.
Anyway.
We'll see this year who's on the way up after that debacle down there. I say under or over 3 years for Rex. I say he screws this thing
I say
up after
even.
2. Even.
Yeah.
I say he screws it up in 2.
I think you're right on the nose with that.
Yeah. Yep. They take his bull. First of all, they'll take his crap so little down there, and he won't get enough press down there because who the frick's going up to Buffalo? You figure Buffalo figures, well, maybe they'll hire this guy. Maybe he'll go back to basics and coach football and stay out of the limelight because Buffalo's got 1 radio station and 1 TV station up there. They don't care. You know what I mean? And if maybe he'll go back the way he was when he built the Jets. But you don't understand, this guy's Hollywood. Anyway, I'm sorry I took you off track there.
No, there's no track.
When I get a chance to rip Rex, I go.
Go for it.
You got it. A video service, Adrian Peterson, he raced Kevin Hart, big comedian.
Yeah.
Gave Kevin a 5-yard lead, still smoked him by like 10 yards at the end of the finish line.
Who's like Hart can run?
No one, but the fact that Peterson looked good.
Yeah.
Looking great shape. They said he's at about 4% body fat right now.
Dallas Cowboys.
I was just gonna say,
If
you're
all the rumors.
if you're the owner of a team,
You getting cheap?
if you're a non-Jerry Jones owner of a team,
Yep.
he's crazy. If you Cashy are an NFL owner, do you take a chance on him?
If I can re-sign Murray, I don't. Because here's the thing. If I'm dealing with Adrian Peterson, I'm dealing with baggage, number 1. Number 2, he's been out. And I don't care how good you are in the NFL, when you take time off, people think, oh, well, you didn't have to play. But being out, it changes you. I don't know.
But apparently didn't change his body. 4% body fat.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'm not
Looking
really
good in that
following.
video.
If he's beating Kevin Hart, I guess he's NFL savvy then.
No, but the fact that he's
I
running
would
well.
take him.
Yeah,
I'd give him a shot.
Here's the thing. I try to sign Murray again before I don't think they're gonna be able to sign Murray.
I think they'd be able to. I wouldn't want to.
He's taking a beating, Murray.
Yeah, I know he's taking
400 carries.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to take.
And he was an injury risk before this. It's not like he's
here's
had
the thing.
a stellar
He doesn't
injury
have
history.
to carry the ball that much.
But they gave it to
they
him.
can torque their offense a little bit and fix things up. You don't have to give it to him. You got other players. You can't have both of them on a team. You can't do that.
No, you can't. No.
Peterson would be a Jerry Jones gold mine.
Yeah, he would love that.
Oh yeah, because the story's there. And before Peterson ever even got on the field, Jerry would have a field day with him. He'd have him up on a podium up there with lights and girls dancing around, and then him, with kids everywhere. He'd make
Whoa, too soon.
Well, listen, don't worry, don't put it out of Jerry's mind. He's thinking now. It's always now with Jones. Okay, it's never build. He's another one who doesn't like to build. He likes to keep retooling because every year he thinks he's got the best team in football. Except this year he didn't think he had the best team. Just goes to show how much he doesn't know. But he would be. He's and the NFL would love to see that. There it is. Give it to the Cowboys. Give it to our team that feeds the pockets, and that's what the Cowboys do. They feed the NFL a lot of cash, and that's why they are who they are. The NFL doesn't need Dallas to win crap. They just need them to survive and compete and be up there at the end of the year.
Not really, because if they're awful, there's still news for being a punchline.
But they're so much better if they're better. And this year they went just as far as the NFL needed them to go.
Mm-hmm.
They just as far. They don't want Tony Romo in that Super Bowl.
They had 2 playoff games, both with controversial endings. That was perfect.
Yep,
perfect.
And,
and then when it's time to get serious, get out. Get out. Go home.
Get to the real. Get to the real players. Get to the real ones.
The very last thing, as you put him, I think it was you who called him a Super Bowl MVP, Butler on the Patriots.
Oh, he was good last night on the.
There was a lot of pressure for Brady to donate his truck
to
Butler because Butler, he's undrafted rookie. He's got no
Brady
money.
Gonna do with that truck?
I don't know if Brady commented on it, but eventually Chevy did come out and Chevy gave him his own truck.
Really?
Yeah, Chevy gave him a truck.
That's very nice.
Well, here's the thing too. And last night he was on the Grammys with who was he with? Edelman.
Edelman
went
up there.
And
State?
I guess Butler's coming out of his shell because he was he's
made his rounds now.
Yeah, he's now
doing all the late nights.
Let me tell you something. He's a good player. I mean, it's obvious he's a good player. He made some mistakes in that game, but I didn't know who he was till that game. And at this point, I just hope he doesn't lose focus. You win. You're Tom Brady. You've been in 6 Super Bowls and you still haven't lost focus. That's key here. That you don't get caught up in the crap because the Patriots are made up of players who don't get caught up in that stuff.
See, I don't know if he's a good player yet. I think he's all right player. You can't tell.
You know what?
Too early to tell. He had a great
Let me tell you something. He made some mistakes, but he made a play that you have to be really. You got to know what you're doing to make that play. And the way he made the play, it's not some flash in the pan. I mean, where he came from, who knows? But when you're around certain kind of other players, you got the right coaching. They bring that kind of stuff out of you. And that's what the Patriots do. They'll take a no-name guy named Butler and they'll make him into an all-pro all-pro defensive back. All
right, but do you remember who the 2000, I guess, before Super Bowl 48? Do you remember who that MVP was?
Super Bowl 48, that's 2 years ago.
Well, the Seahawks. The Seahawks. Broncos.
Yeah, it was Russell Wilson, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, wait. Oh, no, it was what's his name? Yeah.
I know it. Can we tell you?
Yeah.
Malcolm Smith.
Right. He had the interception run back.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm saying, but now Butler had a great game. He's making his rounds. I'm sure Malcolm Smith won MVP. He made all his rounds. Malcolm Smith had 37 tackles, no sacks, no picks last year. He fell back down there.
Yeah.
So now Butler's got, you're saying
but he's not MVP of this game. He's not
MVP of this game, but he's the unofficial MVP of this game.
Well,
a lot of Packers, he made a game saver play. Let's just call it what it is. You don't have to put a label on it.
He was involved in 3 of the most poignant plays in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he had the interference that wasn't called across the middle that would have ended that football game. That first down would have been right there. So he had an interference goal. He got the guy in the ankle, and because it was so low that the ref didn't catch it and wasn't focused on what was going on.
And because the receiver didn't fall down right away.
Right. He was tripped up. He was still trying to go for the ball. And then he had the crazy catch, which he defended, and then he comes back the next. So in that whole realm of 5 minutes, made his career.
Yeah, it did.
Because I didn't know his name.
No. And you shouldn't have.
Right.
And you shouldn't have.
Yeah, right. But now I do.
Yeah.
He is, like you said, give him the truck.
And there's talks of Revis possibly leaving. So if that happens, and this guy's going to be forced in the starting lineup next year. He's going to have a big season ahead of him.
You know what? Don't even, with the way that team's run and deflate gate or whatever you want to call it, regardless, that doesn't make or break a win or a loss. It's, it is what it was. And I wanted to get back to that, just to touch on that a little bit before we go. The rules of cheating in sports. And, it's relegated to what you think is cheating or outside the lines or inside the lines. When a guy holds a defensive player, he gets a flag. Holding is cheating. Yeah. If you hold a guy, you're cheating in the game. Okay? There's different kinds of ways to cheat, whether it's on the field or off the field. There's penalties for it. So you give the penalties. You don't take Super Bowls away. You don't put asterisks next to guys' names and things like that. You penalize. You penalize players for what they do. Okay? You penalize teams for what they do. You want to penalize, if you think you got the Patriots, fine. Take draft picks. I don't think they give a crap if you take a draft pick from them. Really, they don't. Take a first rounder from them. They could not give a crap if you take a first round from them.
It'd be funny to look back and see
don't go back and say, these Super Bowls aren't warranted. They cheated this, they cheated that. Everybody cheats. Everybody cheats, but not everybody gets caught. And when you do get caught,
but we said this when we talked about this before. There's different forms of cheating.
Yes, there is. But you know what?
Like we said, there's stealing signs in baseball where you're looking at what the catcher's throwing, and then there's taking steroids to make yourself stronger to hit home runs.
And there's cameras that watch the catcher too that are going back to the booth upstairs and are going down to somebody.
But you're not going to get an asterisk for stealing catcher signs. Right. You're going to get an asterisk if you have a corked bat and you're taking steroids.
That's more so to the point than anything else. If it's like this, if all 3 of us in a room. And I'm doing steroids, hitting the ball out of the park, that's cheating. But if all 3 of us...
It's illegal in steroids are illegal.
Just in this country, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a law.
It's illegal. It's a crime.
Yeah.
But my point being, if I'm doing it, it's and I'm the only one access to it. But if it's out there in a game and I steal sign, we all have the opportunity to steal signs in a game. You all have the opportunity to look at the big screen.
There's a talent
exactly. It's part of the game. It's your goal to intercept the ball, the signals, everything.
In regards to football, you're saying holding is cheating. In a way, yes. You said cheats, but it's an in-game penalty. You get a flag. If before the game I spray my entire jersey with Pam or with that little spray
and
stuff.
Before you were born, it was called Stickum.
Yeah, well, that's another gloves.
Okay, no, it's on their hands, their arms.
Yeah, I'm talking about like that.
The Raiders put it all over his body. So the ball, at one time, they had a demonstration. They threw a ball against his jersey. It stuck to his jersey.
I was on Letterman. Remember, it was a joke on Letterman.
I'm saying the exact opposite. Not the Stickum. I know Stickum, but they're spraying that cooking spray
Yeah.
to make their jerseys slick so you can't grab them. That's cheating where you should be getting fined and suspended. Holding, you're not getting a fine and suspended. It's just a flag.
Right.
Because that's an in-game penalty.
Here's my thing.
You're not going out of your way to try to deceive.
You're bringing
all
external
deceiving.
components.
When you try to hold, it's deceiving. You try to hold it so you don't get caught.
Well, no, maybe no, because at times you're not really trying to.
You have to.
Sometimes the guy gets around you, you grab a hold. It's a face,
It's
face masking.
It's a mental thing.
When somebody gets a face mask,
instinct.
you're not going. I'm going to grab his face mask and pull it. No, your hand went there.
If you go back to the thing I'm talking about is with the ball. Every play, the ball gets spotted. Okay, the ref
should have noticed.
Okay, so that's why if the ref doesn't notice, it's not that noticeable. If the ref has it in his hand, they're catching that ball, they're putting it down, they're holding it. Okay, if it's that bad, they got to know it. That's part of what they do. They're referees. They see a holding penalty. They know because they see holding. They see clipping or personal fouls. They know it. They pick up a ball and they say, well, it's ball soft. Wait, timeout. Something's wrong with this ball.
Especially considering there's two different balls. So if you're, the regulation that the Colts were using and then the unregulation the Patriots were using, they should have felt a difference, I would assume.
And it took the other opponents on the team going, this don't feel right.
Yeah, but did you happen to see the video or the actual show of Drew Brees on Conan?
Yeah, I saw that. He threw the dead ball right in the guy's hand.
Well, not so much that, but he knew the weights.
Yeah,
of the football.
We think he did. We don't know if he was. Who knows?
I don't think they're going to go because he's not trying to show up Brady to where he's going to be like, hey, tell me the weights beforehand. I'll guess them right. Like, no. They were asking, what do you think this weighs? 12 ounces. Yeah. Exactly on the money. This one, 10 and a half. That's exactly what it was. He guessed them. He knew. Yeah, and there was, when a lot of quarterbacks were coming out, Dilfer and all them were saying, any quarterback who's played this game their whole life can tell the difference. Okay. Brady should have felt the difference. Again, I'm not anti-Patriots in reference.
Well, Brady felt the difference and he didn't say nothing. Is it his fault?
No, it's not. He doesn't. He's not going to be. Hey! Somebody weigh this. No, this doesn't feel right. No, that's not his job to do that.
Weigh my balls.
I'm throwing this too easy.
Check my balls. They don't feel right.
I'm thinking.
He probably did notice, but it's not his job to care.
It's not
his job.
If you're getting away with it and it's being done. And once again, it might be easier to throw and easier to catch. It's still easier for the defense to catch it too if they want to pick it off. So there's a plus for the other side too. So what you're doing here,
and you can't throw it as hard.
Right, you can't throw it as hard exactly, but it's more. I mean, the touch is there. Whatever. Yeah. But the whole idea of the softball is the rain. It's wet water. It's a wet water ball. That's why you're not going to see that in the Super Bowl because they don't need it soft. But when it's wet, you need to grip it better. And if you'll notice, the game that it was pulled out of was a wet, muddy game. And that's it. That's the thing. So they got away with what they're doing. They got away with it. If the referee didn't catch it, and the referee's got the ball in his hand all game long, he doesn't feel the difference because he's not a quarterback. Hey, man, that's his fault. Yeah, that's part of what you do as a referee. I will not take the accomplishments of the New England Patriots in the past 14 years away from this incident because they still played the games. They still had a tackle. They still did it with players that are still not known to any of us. I mean, if you can name 10 to 12 players on these 14 years of New England Patriots, I'd be very surprised.
No, I could name probably 100, but
100 Patriots. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. Well,
let's just come.
All right, we got 5 minutes.
I'm
2 minutes left. Go.
I'm a Madden player, so I
mean, okay. Well, you know what my point being.
I know,
okay, you might be able to,
but the average person, no.
And I can name 25 San Francisco 49ers from the 80s on those teams, or Dallas Cowboys from the 70s. You got that. But the Patriots, they didn't have that. When we talked about this, they didn't have the stable guys.
Yeah,
changing every year because of the ability to coach a system. And that's what's key in sports, a system. If you look at the winners and losers in sports, you see a system. We look at hockey. The Detroit Red Wings may not win the cup every year, but they have a system of commitment that works and keeps them in the hunt every year.
More like a team philosophy.
Yes, exactly. And if you look at the Patriots.
Steelers.
Well, Steelers too. Steelers are, right. Yeah. I guess I put them in the same. And you go to San Antonio. San Antonio has a system of consistently winning. If you look at teams like the Lakers, the Pistons, and they had players for a time. And when they lost their players, they lost their ability to win. But San Antonio keeps retooling the system. It happens you see it also. The New York Yankees might be a team that buys. Actually, I look at Boston more as a retooling team. Mm-hmm. Boston comes back every year when you surprise you because they retool well. It's the same thing. They're winners throughout. I mean, we could say the same thing for the Braves back in the 90s. They retooled their teams and they didn't win like they should. They're a little disappointing. But you know what I'm talking about.
That was more their hitting than their pitching.
But I'm just saying, you go to an organization like that, and you see that, and a few teams in each kind of sport do that. You don't see a lot of teams with the system that keeps on working. And that's why you see the Patriots are up there. And they're the only team that's always up there. You know, there's not another other team. I mean, you could say that
and of all the teams that you just named, think who are their coaches? Belichick,
right.
Popovich, Joe Torre,
right.
All the coaches we talked about
the ones
in the first segment of the show.
The characters.
Comes full circle.
Right. The characters have it. All right. So we made it through 2 hours of this chaos. Fortunately, that WWSG show comes back on because that's where everybody sees us.
Should be back by next week.
Yep. Anything else, B? Anything to promote? Anything you want to talk about before we leave?
Nope, that's it. We're all good. I hope my mom feels better. She's in the hospital. So wishing the best for my mommy. That's about it.
Okay, shouts out there for anybody.
No shouts.
Thank your girlfriend for wearing the shirt on Instagram.
Yes, I will. I want to throw a late Mikey the Wall pick out here.
Okay.
Yeah, like Wisconsin Badgers college basketball tomorrow night. 5th ranked against Nebraska. Wisconsin's only -8.5. Take it to the bank.
Yeah. Thanks to some of our sponsors. Apple Public Adjusters, Seal Roofing, Auto Magic Car Care, Larry Gilman.biz, the T-shirt guy, and Resnick Plumbing. Give out their phone number, 215-259-5018, the Delaware Valley's #1 plumber. I am Cashy King. I got my chef to the left, Brendan B. Mikey the Wall's where he should be. This is the Sports Goombahs. And we will be seeing you next week. Same Goombah time. Have a good one.